Welcome to Lorehammer, episode 25, Harlequins.
Hello and welcome back to Lorehammer, the only podcast where we ask you to do our fact-checking for us. My name is Eric. Well, I don't do any fact-checking. That's not my responsibility. I'm just the smooth jazz voice. Hello, welcome to Lorehammer. My name is Eric. This is Mark.
And I'm Jordan, and we are Dragon Energy.
Joining us today, once again, is Peter. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Glad to be back.
Good.
Third time.
Good stuff.
Third time.
There you go.
Third time.
Third time into the microphone.
Yeah. 3 times, it still doesn't know where to speak into.
It's called the microphone, Peter.
He's looking at the wall, talking directly to a wall.
To the Batman blanket.
Yeah.
I just talk into my phone. That usually works for me.
You're just not used to associating with people. Peter, it's called outside.
You can move it if you want, if you need to. If that's fine, that's cool.
Careful.
All right, get adjusted. It's not like
all right.
Okay.
Okay, I'm adjusted.
Not you, Mark.
Oh.
I'll do your adjusting for you. Let's jump right in. Wow, I feel like this is not the right place for it, but we're going to do it anyway. The first thing we're going to talk about today is 32 reasons why we hate Christian.
Subnote, Mark God Emperor. So
Yeah, that's
I remember writing this and be like, oh yeah, don't worry about putting a note. I'll remember.
Yes.
Because I had some huge rant that Christian kept interrupting me, but I forgot my rant.
Perfect. So we don't hate Christian.
No, I'm sure there's still 32 reasons why, but...
Oh, no, we can come up with 32. Well, in that case, let's ignore that.
Yeah, there was some huge rant that Christian kept interrupting me on and calling me an idiot.
Oh, that's right. And you wanted to use this as your space to
Yeah.
fully get out your idea
Yeah.
because he can't interrupt you here, and you knew he's going to listen to
But
it.
I have so many ideas coming in and coming out that how can I keep track of them all?
I remember that. I remember you being like, don't worry about it. Like, just put it down. I'll do it. Nothing. All right. Good stuff. Our next one we're going to talk about is, I'm going to get this right off the bat. Review us on iTunes, please. We've gotten really good reviews on Facebook, and we love reading them. In fact, we're going to share one with you. But rating and reviewing us on iTunes is like the number one way for us to get famous, really. And if you're not doing this to get famous, what's the point?
I was promised women?
As a very
power.
smart man once said, if I can't go scuba diving, what's the point?
What has this all been for?
What has it all been for? Okay, Mark, do you have that review ready to go?
Yeah, I do, but unfortunately, I can't read.
What's the problem? I don't understand.
We're not very organized this episode.
No kidding, hey?
Peter, make some small talk. Tell us about your life.
Okay, here we go. I got it. All right. Just make sure you have your email ready to go for the next one. All right. So here is a review we got from someone we mentioned in our last episode, Mr. Dylan. And he said, heresy. This podcast is hardcore heresy. Oh. If you feel like a visit from your local inquisitor to blender your face with a chainsword, tune in to this audio orgy of cultist rabble. It's about as coherent as the ocean waves of the warp.
So there's one inside joke.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Chaos has taken one host's literacy.
Yeah, that's not really a joke. That's just sad.
Yes, that's just hurtful that you would make fun of that, really. The other plots against a recurring guest. With good reason. Let's be honest. Life is repeatedly stated to be meaningless. Well, it is. I pray an exterminatus comes swiftly. Great podcast. Total heretics. 5 stars.
Yeah, so write us some reviews on iTunes, and
Yeah, come on. I want to see
we
that on
can
iTunes
spread our
too.
heresy around.
Oh, there's only one good thing to do with heresy, and that's to make other people heretics. Or else you're just a heretic by yourself, and then that's no good. But yeah, thanks for the reviews, guys. We like it, but hit us up on iTunes as well. It's like our main way that people listen to us. It's going to be the main way that people find us. Next up, a little Patreon update. We've got 3 new people who have contributed to us since the last time. Thank you so much for James, Drew, and Jacob. Really appreciate you guys feeling that we're important enough that you want to give us money. So that's appreciated. We have reworked where our rewards are at with Patreon, and at this point it feels like we feel really good about it, or at least I do. And Mark was like, Eric, if you feel good about it, that's all that matters.
I don't think those were my words.
That was
I don't
verbatim.
think I ever took your feelings into
Verbatim.
consideration.
That's not true. That's not true. He likes me. He really does. Yeah, thanks so much for your continued support and contributions, guys. And then I guess let's step right into the
well, do we want to tell some or
Oh, yeah, sure. So
get people interested?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah.
So we have 3 different reward levels right now for Patreon. The first being, if you contribute to us, we're going to give you a sticker.
Yeah, if you contribute $1, we'll mail you a Lorehammer sticker.
And you can put it on your forehead and be free advertising for us.
Yeah, sure. If that's what they want
Use
to
it
put
as a
it.
tattoo stencil for your
Yeah.
face. That's what we're really asking
That
for.
tattoo?
Maybe just put it.
Tattoo.
Maybe just put it on your car or something.
It's like the perfect size, I think, to put on like the back of your phone if you're, that.
If you're that kind of
If you're that
person.
kind of guy.
Yeah.
Like it's
On your
it's-
computer or something.
Yeah.
Some people are
No,
into
it's
that.
you're a
not
dirt
for
biker, put it
advertising.
on
It's
your-
just to show that you're part of us.
I don't know. Logos are cool, I guess. I don't know.
The next was it $5?
Yeah.
Okay, our $5 contributors, we're going to give you stickers because that's everybody's favorite, obviously, and that's the whole reason you're doing this is for the Lorehammer sticker.
Yeah.
But we'll also give you like a dice bag with Lorehammer's symbol on it. It's like a zippered bag that you can take to your gaming.
Stores dice. It stores D4s, D6s,
Ooh, what other kind of
D10, D20s.
Ooh. How about a D100?
I'm not totally sure. I have yet to try it.
Okay.
But I would imagine
That is a big D.
Some would say the biggest D of all. Will it fit in the bag? That's just a game we need to start playing. Will it fit? Will the D fit? And then our very last one, we're going to give you stickers, we're going to give you a dice bag, and we're also going to give you a Lorehammer t-shirt.
Yeah, and this is if you donate $10 a month.
$10 a month.
And
Yes.
then all we ask is, just donate for at least like 3 or 4 times, 3 or 4 months. Don't just donate for 1 month,
Yeah,
then you
yeah.
get your shirt and then screw us over.
none of you would do that.
Don't be a dickhead, Basic rule to life.
Yeah,
But,
but those are a couple ways that we want to just say thank you for your contribution.
Yeah.
Just to show that we care from the bottom of our black, soulless heart pits. All right.
The other thing we have on the topic of like us making money off you guys is we have opened a Redbubble account, and Redbubble is basically like you upload art and then they print it onto T-shirts or like
Or anything.
Yeah,
I
this
love
is
really-
Redbubble.
yeah
Yeah.
Or-
we should
or-
get sponsorship money from them.
yes.
Say it a few more times.
Redbubble.
Yeah.
But,
Say it in the mirror.
yeah, like this is where we're getting our
Red bubble.
Third time. Say it the third time.
Red bubble.
what happens.
I'm wearing a new t-shirt.
But yeah, this is like where we're getting our T-shirt and our dice bag. But they make like iPhone cases. They make
Hoodies, t-shirts,
Stickers,
notebooks, stickers,
yeah,
whatever.
pins, everything.
Yeah.
It's really cool,
Yeah,
actually. So,
yeah. So if you want like a Lorehammer T-shirt, just go on there.
yeah.
They're pretty cheap. I think it was like $25 including shipping.
Yeah, and
So it's
shipping
not-
is not expensive.
and that's Canadian too. So like
yeah,
I
like
don't
we
know.
were looking at like if we shipped to the UK and it cost us like $6. Like it was
pretty good.
nothing.
Yeah. So yeah, if you ever want like a Lorehammer T-shirt, just go on there and
Yeah, if you don't want to contribute to us, then I guess you can do it that way.
yeah, whatever. We're still making money off it. But,
Don't tell them that.
okay. Yeah. Cool.
All right, let's get into the last thing before we really dig in to the meat of the topic today, and that's going to be an email we got from someone.
She emailed us. I'm assuming it's a girl. Sari. Sari.
Don't
Sure.
you dare assume, Mark. You know that's not what we do at Lorehammer.
All I do is make assumptions about everything in my life.
That's true.
She messaged us a while ago, and I forgot to get back to her. But I believe she messaged us like way back, like 10 episodes ago. So sorry for the late response. But she was asking about the possibility of female Space Marines, and the way she was saying, if like there was, if the unknown Primarchs were female, then potentially they could make female Space Marines. And I yelled at her.
So short answer, absolutely.
Sure, like,
Right?
it's not my world.
Long answer, no, because Space Marines organs don't work with female bodies.
Yeah, but like, who knows? If there's some weird process with the warp that went, who knows?
Went
like
very awry.
She was
And women
more-
were created.
She was more saying like, oh, like if Games Workshop ever decide to go that route, like she would find this like
an acceptable
way,
as opposed to them just creating female Space Marines.
exactly.
Yeah. No,
and I would be okay with it. I wouldn't lose sleep over it. I wouldn't like it, but whatever.
I would lose sleep over the amount of yelling you do at me.
Yeah. And the other thing she was mentioning was we were talking about the hive mind and how they're drawn to the Emperor. And I don't exactly understand why. She was saying something about how the Emperor is actually the hive mind and is controlling them somehow. But you gotta clarify it a bit more. I don't quite understand. I even read it through it before, and I still didn't quite get it.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not in charge. I shouldn't be in charge of talking.
No, you should not.
You're looking at, there's dead air. I'm mumbling. I'm just here to make dick jokes with Jordan.
I never did any such thing.
You said that's a big D.
Yes,
and
as
then
in
you were
die,
talking.
as in
He's
die.
talking about a dice mark.
And then he
Get
was
your
talking
mind out of
about
the
your
gutter.
mind.
He was talking about bagging the D.
I never said that. I actually
We were
literally-
talking about a dice bag. Oh my gosh, Mark. This is a family-friendly podcast.
Okay, one story, and then we'll get into the topic of it.
Okay, one story.
On the topic of family friendly.
Yes, I like this story.
My parents spend a lot of the time down in.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Oh yes!
Oh no!
Oh yes! My parents spend a lot of their time down in Florida, just on vacation.
Abandoning
their children. So she was getting lonely and missing me, and then she's seen that we released like an ecclesiarchal episode, and like when we did our release, we like worded it very much like, you know, do you want to learn how to worship the Emperor and like learn about Space Church? And she's super.
Like, have you ever met a Jehovah's Witness?
Yeah.
That was us.
Yeah, so she's super religious, so it caught her attention. So she listened to like the first 10 minutes, and you know,
You talk about Ugandan presidents that are against fellatio.
yeah, and I think I said eating pussy, so that was enjoyable. And my mother heard me saying that, so that's also enjoyable.
Oh my god.
I'm married, so it's fine. Is it? Where's our
You
official
can't just
stats?
use "I'm married" as an excuse for everything that you do. No. I know I murdered him, but I'm married, so it's fine.
That's fine.
I'm stable enough to be in a committed relationship.
So she sent me a message, and she's like, I wish I could be proud of you. Or I want to be proud of you. And
But like, why does it have to be so dirty?
yeah, so that's why I'm so, you know, weird and emotionally clingy and stuff. It's because I never got enough love from my parents.
Wait, are you really trying to say you never got enough love from your parents?
Yeah.
Because that is a bald-faced lie.
They're not proud of me.
Oh my gosh.
They're proud of
They
Kurt.
wish they could be, Mark.
I've heard them say that they're proud of Kurt.
Well then, that's
That-
that conversation I'm not willing to have on this podcast. Mark, you leave your family problems out of this
Yeah.
place.
We're not having like a Freudian psychoanalytic session.
Why
here.
not? I heard
I don't
want
wanna
to
have
hearing
an
from our
Oedipus
fans that they
episode.
like when we get deep into this kind of stuff, and they're very curious about my mind's inner workings and why I can believe such outrageous things.
Because it's unstable.
Okay,
Normal minds, everyone's fine with, but yours. Okay.
So Harlequins.
Oh,
What a nice segue. Yes.
that was about as smooth as Floorhammer possibly gets on our segues.
Unless you're talking about D's.
Okay. And we're back to Harlequins. So, Harlequins, this has been something a couple people have been looking forward to for a while.
Yeah.
It's like one of the first few deep dives we're doing, really.
Yeah. And I hope you guys can be proud of us, but I know you won't
No,
be.
of course not. Because
No.
we're probably. I'm hoping we say at least that's for another episode like 3 times. We're gonna say it 3 times. That's my bet.
Look, clearly there's some very specific needs that have been mentioned here. So if in your reviews you could just mention how proud you are of Mark and Eric specifically, but really Mark, I think we've uncovered something here today that's really important. And I think there could be a lot of healing that could come through this 40K podcast.
See, Mark was so used to like listening to podcasts and being like, wow, like I really look up to these guys. They are so good and like clear communicators. He's like, I've never been told that in my life. I really want that. So he's doing this for self-validation. That's what we're trying to get. Right?
Perfect. Perfect.
Just all of his fans, send him some love. Let him know that Mark.
I get a lot of love. I've been voted most popular multiple times.
It doesn't work if they're just saying that to you.
Well, apparently it's not just to me. Apparently it's not a private conversation. It's a group.
Okay, but there's a difference between me being allowed to read something and you asking me to read something. Because you don't ask me to read anything, but I read it all. Guys should know if you're messaging Mark, I am watching. I am literally reading every single message you guys send him. Everything. All right. Harlequins. Let's get into this. So, Peter, this is actually a topic that you enjoy.
I think Harlequins are amazing.
And share that love of Harlequins with us.
Well, I think for Harlequins, first of all, finally, all those kids who went to theater camp growing up, they finally have an army of their own.
Like the
40K is really very inclusive if you really think about it. There's
Very
an
diverse.
army. There's an army for everybody.
All those improv classes that you went to just before you thought you were going to be discovered, make your big break.
even Justin Trudeau can fit in here.
There you go.
Yep.
Everybody who ever owned those Greek classical masks with the tragedy face.
Who owns those?
And
That's something like your
Hey,
grandma owns.
Somebody has those on their wall right now. The comedy face.
The happy sad.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the army for you. So
Yeah.
if you're not sure what army best suits you and you're like, hey, I grew up being in one act plays, going to theater camp.
Rethink your life.
I was sharing from personal experience.
Ooh, okay. Well,
No,
one of the reasons Peter doesn't play with us. Because they are a theater and you like the theater theme.
Yeah, I think finally 40K has brought together my love of Cirque du Soleil and armies killing each other in a grimdark universe.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. So are you trying to say that next time you go see Cirque du Soleil, your experience would be better if all of a sudden they're tumbling and then just like they just jump into the audience
With chainswords.
with chainsaws
Yes.
and just start spinning around and
It would make it more engaging, crowd
of
crowd
course.
engagement.
Right.
Yeah.
But that is something you'd like to have happen?
I don't really want to comment on that part at this time.
How much people do you want killed, Peter?
Right,
How
that's-
many people?
How many people have to die before you're satisfied?
Yeah, Harlequins are amazing. I think they're pretty great. I like that all their units feature that they jump off rocks. If you've ever looked at Harlequins, they're all jumping off rocks.
Yeah.
See, I can really, what's it called when you connect? I can really connect with that whole theme. I think ever since I started modeling, I always wanted to do someone jumping off a cliff.
Yeah.
I've never done it.
Trying to get away from you, yeah.
It's very just like running around, parkour, shouting parkour, jumping off of rocks, leaping around. That's Harlequins,
Running
right?
around like the classic like ninja run. Like
that's
The
right,
arms
yeah.
straight behind them.
yeah. Just stuff like that.
Yeah, so I think that's why they're so cool. And they're also very colorful.
Yeah.
Very colorful.
Compared
yeah.
to, you can do a lot of different colors, combinations.
Very bright and eye-catching.
Yep.
Yeah, in everything that they do, whether they're in their theater, just their clothes and how they look, or especially when they battle, right? Because then their hollow suits go all nuts.
Now, reading a lot of the community, the larger community's thoughts on Harlequins, heard a lot of people calling them clowns. which I think is very offensive. They're very clearly not clowns. They're theater troupe performers. I mean, this is art and battle being woven together. This is not a clown. This is not to amuse you. This is not Pennywise coming out of the sewer to attack you. This isn't Ronald McDonald in the 40K
Yeah,
universe.
but think of that, how awesome that would be.
Ronald McDonald in 40K.
Yeah.
Cheeseburger cannon.
Right, exactly.
Yes.
Google it. I'm sure it's out there somewhere.
I'm sure someone's
Someone's
modeled
already
it.
done
If we have thought of it,
They
someone
do
else has.
have like a court jester look to them.
Especially,
Which is acceptable.
Especially
Absolutely.
one of the models. Like, but there's like a lot, and like that whole troubadour look though.
Yeah.
is very like.
But that is not a clown. That's my
Yeah.
point.
But
that
the
I'm
death
making.
jester definitely looks
Yeah.
like he has got like that big smile on his face.
Sure. And could even be juggling. I'll allow that. And yet still
Juggling
not
fire?
a clown.
juggling psychic balls of energy.
Oh, okay.
I mean, they're Eldar, so everything they do is
Yeah.
psychic.
So let's get into why they are the way they are. Why are there a bunch of psychotic theater troops, not clowns, running around the universe, killing people and performing?
Right.
Why did this come about?
Well, it starts because the Harlequin are part of the Eldar, and so connected into the rich history of the Eldar, going back to the fall of the Eldar, which I know you guys, we covered in a podcast. There's a couple podcasts about the Eldar pre-fall and after the fall. And so the Harlequins would have been part of the Eldar even before the fall,
Yeah.
potentially just as... it's
Yeah,
true.
they were-
I see those squinty eyes.
They were
But
a part of it,
They were not
but-
the Harlequins then.
Yeah. They were actually more like theater performers then, as opposed to like
Any
taking
artists,
combat. Yeah.
dancers, they would have had these other.
Okay, they were not Harlequins.
They weren't Harlequins, but
So you're
they were
saying
Eldar.
there were performers in the
Because
Eldar race.
But how long can an Eldar live?
Indefinite?
Right. So is it reasonable to assume that some of the Harlequins now were still alive pre-fall?
Oh,
Yes.
of course,
Right?
that is
Yeah.
a reasonable assumption.
So that's what I'm saying. So Harlequins start before the fall. They just weren't known as Harlequins then, but they would have
Right.
been alive.
Okay, all right.
And they would have been the theater performers, the dancers,
My
the
issue
artists.
was not with you saying that there have been performers before the fall. My issue was you saying that the Harlequins existed before the fall.
No,
'cause
but
they
they're-
did not.
They're starting off place it did. Like
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
of course, every single culture has like some kind of performance people in it.
oh, okay.
Right?
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, here we
Like,
go.
But the thing that makes the Harlequins, was their relationship to the Laughing God, which we will pronounce as what?
I don't know. I'm doing
Kegarak.
I'm doing Kegarak.
Kegarak.
Cereal.
Yeah, there we go.
I don't know.
So the Laughing God, they have the
Who is a
they
member
were-
of the pantheon
yes,
of the Eldar mythology?
right. And so when the fall took place, all of those gods were destroyed. Is that what term? Bad things happen. They disappeared.
Yeah,
they
so-
were eaten. I don't
We
know.
actually had this conversation
how
last
to-
night that not all of them are dead. Because Isha is still alive.
I don't think any of them are dead, really.
Well, Cain is.
So in the fall, where
Fine dead.
He's been shattered into a million pieces. That's
that-
pretty dead to
Is
me.
that dead?
Yeah, because I don't think he can come
so
back.
they're not a part of the
Yeah.
narrative. Then
Exactly.
Yes.
They've been separated off, and especially during the fall, lots of them were. I think a couple were eaten by Slaanesh, but
I think like that. Those were like prized by
yeah.
Slaanesh.
But there are still some that exist and stuff.
Okay, so basically, though, after the fall, as far as any of the Eldar are concerned or no, there is just Slaanesh.
right.
And then there are the Exodites who have like left. There's the Craft World Eldar, and
The
there's another
Drukhari.
group.
Yeah, the Dark Eldar.
So they all kind of split up, head in their separate directions, flee. But in each of those groups that are heading in their different directions are worshippers of the Laughing God.
Yeah.
And they become the seeds that the Harlequin are formed from.
Yeah.
And so from each of these different groups, then at some point, I think it's like M32, Segarak, the Laughing God, seems to call, or something happens where all of these worshippers of the Laughing God kind of disappear. They go into the webway, and then they become the Harlequins.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's only after the fall that the Harlequin like order, if you call it that, like is established.
Yeah. Yeah, and like their first like official like true like appearance in the Materium world is like M33, I think. So they're relatively like recent.
In the scope of the Eldar, they are very recent because
Even-
the Eldar are like 60 million, like so old.
Yeah.
Right.
Even in like the scope of anything except for like Tau, like humanity.
Tyranids.
Tyranids.
Oh, okay, in this galaxy.
Like they're relatively new.
yeah.
They are. They are.
No,
You wanna fight?
I
You
am
wanna fucking fight me?
agreeing. I am agreeing with you, Mark. Please, I'm proud of you. I think you're doing a great job. Just breathe in and out, Peter.
So after the fall, the Harlequins, their kind of main task that they set up is that they are theatrical performers that are sharing the history of what happened before the fall, during the fall, as like a cautionary tale to make sure that the Eldar know what's going on. So that's a big part of who they are. That's the initial kind of the biggest, most public piece, is that they travel around to all of the different Eldar, even the Dark Eldar, welcome them to come as performers to do this piece.
Yeah, they'll even go to like other Xenoses and perform for them too.
Yeah, I was gonna ask that.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, because they're literally just telling like the story of their history essentially, and trying to, like Peter said, tell that cautionary tale so no other races birth a chaos god. You know, because that's never fun.
No, it's not.
And
No,
so
it's not good.
the biggest like epic that they can perform is the fall of the Eldar, where they need to get all these very specific roles filled by specific members of the Harlequins, and it's the largest scale performance that they would do. But then there'd also be other smaller performances about specific pieces of their history that they would be able
There's
to
probably
perform.
even like tales of like certain heroes from their past and like literally anything you could think of.
I think a lot of it is they do a lot of stuff like of the old race, and a lot of the Pantheon stories.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, because like the Eldar don't have any connection with them anymore.
Yeah.
Well, debatable, but like a lot of those, like the paths you could even kind of see are taken from like the ideals of like the old Pantheon members, right? And so these guys are going around and be like, hey, like this is where it comes from. Like this is your history, stuff you've forgotten so long ago, stuff you've lost in the fall.
Yeah. They also travel around the galaxy murdering because, you know.
What?
Yeah.
No.
It's 40K.
No.
You can't just have a peaceful faction.
Yeah, that would be dead real quick.
But like all Eldar, the reasons they get involved in conflict is like super specific. Like they know if they're on this certain planet and they help these random people defend against this invasion, it'll pull on the strings of fate and everything will be different. So they don't even necessarily have to fight for the Eldar. Like they could fight with Tau, but then they know that like if the Tau won this one battle, then 5,000 years later it'll benefit the Eldar somehow.
Yeah, that's a lot of everything that the Eldar do.
Yeah.
Is always trying to get the big picture and doing what's completely necessary for them and
Yeah.
the galaxy as a whole.
But also, since they like follow the Laughing God, sometimes they'll just do random stuff as well. Sometimes they'll just do stuff for fun.
Is it really like? Because a lot of the themes I've heard is that he's like an insane like character, but I don't see that.
Why?
Like I don't see his thing being insane. I more just see like his perspective is just like, well, you can't look at it and be like affected by like all the like, so Slanesh, right? Like he sees the Slanesh thing happen and it's described that everyone else is like dying and crying and everything and he's just laughing because
Is that not insanity?
I don't know, like to me not necessarily.
Are you insane?
Well, that's not for this discussion.
That's a matter of perspective. Like, obviously, like an insane person when he's going around killing people doesn't think he's insane.
But I
like,
believe
he thinks
that.
it's fine. Like,
Well, not only
but does that
that-
actually make him fine? No, the laughing god's an insane
No,
god.
but you're saying
Like,
that they do things for no reason. But like that's not what the image I get out of it. The image I get is everything is still very calculated. It's just not the reason we might think.
Yeah, it's an issue of perspective.
Yeah.
But I don't even
So-
like insanity is not perspective. Like
No.
you can be insane and you might not think you're insane, but you are definitely insane.
And I think
right?
the laughing god is
But
insane.
just because you don't understand like his potential, the consequences of what he's doing, right? Like if all of a sudden he sends the Harlequins to do something that we don't get, that doesn't make him insane.
Yes.
No, it doesn't.
Yes.
No, it doesn't. It
Yes.
just means that we don't understand everything
No, sure,
that
yeah,
he does.
yeah, no,
Because I
like,
never
sure.
really get the insane theme with him.
Well, and we're going to come back to the laughing god to talk a little bit more about that, where maybe we can hopefully hone in on some
Sure.
of that. So, like you said, Mark, they're an army. They go around. They're killing. They're also after the fall. One of their responsibilities is they're somehow secret defenders of the Black Library.
Yeah.
So the Black Library is a craft world that's in the webway, where it's the repository of knowledge and information on chaos and all sorts of other stuff. And then the Harlequins are involved in protecting it in some way.
Yeah. Yeah, because in that library, they have like crazy warp secrets even that like if people just wander across it, like it won't be good. There's tons of Chaos Space Marines, specifically Araman,
Ahriman?
Araman,
Of the
whatever.
Thousand Sons?
Yeah, like he's been trying to get there. I think eventually he does make it there. I forget exactly, but like just imagine if he like unlocks all these secrets. That would not be good for the galaxy. So yeah, the Harlequins are defenders of that, and they're said to be the word masters is a weird word, but they're supposed to be like masters of the webway. Like they know.
I hear that consistently.
Yeah,
That's
like it just I don't really like the word, like because they're not making new
no.
webway, but they're the
know
most
it's
knowledgeable.
designed,
Yeah,
right. There's a difference between like you can maneuver it perfectly. That doesn't mean they can create. It,
exactly.
right?
That's why
they can't
it
even
was-
repair.
Yeah,
There is a little, we can get back to it, but there is
Yeah.
a mask where it describes them where as they're like battling, like it shifts the webway.
Well,
and-
the webway is constantly in flux, and you can open like very small webway portals
Sure.
and even like extend a little bit, but those are only temporary. Like the webway itself is like a finished construct in between real space and the immaterium, and it's built, and you can like branch out of it a little bit, but you can't effectively change the webway.
right, and that's where it's a little unclear.
Because normally it takes a really powerful like spirit seer to actually open another webway portal. So maybe that's what this mask allows them to do.
So the Harlequins, they are part of the Eldar, but they are also different from the Eldar because they exist outside of Eldar society.
Yeah.
So they don't owe allegiance to any craft world or to any other Eldar leader or anything like that.
This is
They
not
exist
like
on their
a
own.
path that the Eldar
Right.
walk on. Like they have like their aspects, so like their warrior path, their seer path. Like this is not. There's no Harlequin path.
No, it's just you're either a Harlequin or you're something else.
Yeah.
Like you devote yourself completely to this life.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they devote themselves to the Laughing God.
Yeah.
That's their ultimate authority leader that they're looking to.
Yeah. But yeah, like even though they are separate from all that, like we said earlier, that like if they go to the Dark Eldar, like the Dark Eldar like welcome them in. Like there's no
Animosity.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that was something I had a hard time wrapping my head around. Was even an interesting tidbit about the Harlequins is they're often used to help broker alliances between the craft world and the Drukhari.
Yeah.
Which is so weird to me because when I picture like the relationships between craft world, Eldar, and Drukhari, I'm like they hate each other. Like they're the complete opposites of what the other is meant to represent. And so I was like, and for these beings that are so like psychically attuned and emotionally like deep in their thought, like there's no way they could possibly reconcile their differences. But then it was like right there. It's like, oh, the Harlequins make alliances. And it like kind of made me rework how the Eldar and the Dark Eldar saw each other.
Yeah.
I think there is kind of like that popular trope in fantasy or any of that, like the traveler, the storyteller who's welcomed in every society. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter. You're going to let the storyteller come in because it's that connection to history. You recognize it as important.
Yeah.
And so then it does make sense for them to kind of be bridge builders between different groups and factions because they're well respected with each one.
Yeah.
All right, so the Harlequins, we were already touching on it, but their relationship with the Laughing God, Segorak or Kegorak, or insert your own
Sigorich.
pronunciation here.
It's like a Russian name almost.
Sigurich.
Yeah.
So they have an unshakable belief in the Laughing God after the fall. And one of the things that I wasn't entirely sure of is, do all of the Eldar believe that the Laughing God is actually still there, or do they think that he went the same way as their other gods? Is it just the Harlequins? Because I know they definitely have this firm belief in the Laughing God. It's the reason why they're doing everything.
Yeah.
They're going around telling everybody about the Laughing God,
Yeah.
but do the other Eldar actually believe them?
I would say that they do, but it's just like the Laughing God's always been kind of like the runt of the pantheon,
Right, yes.
and never was
He's
really
the joke.
Yeah, exactly. Like he was never really worshipped by any of them. Like even when the gods were walking among them,
He wasn't loved or anything.
Exactly, he was the jokester. Like so, that's why like there's kind of that like he's there, but none of them really care that he's there because he's never meant to be somebody that they're supposed to care about. You know, he's never really contributed. You know, he's not a master craftsman that gave the Eldar like technology.
Right, or
So-
like Cain gave them anger, right? Like Isha gave them compassion.
Yeah.
So that's where like, what did the Laughing God give them? Like a sense of humor.
Yeah.
But in reality, like his contribution to the Eldar race for those who believed in him, like that was their protection from Slanesh, right? Was his ability to just like let things slide off of him and like ignore everything else. That was what allowed a lot of some Eldar to dissociate themselves so they weren't part of the fall.
And it does seem like the speculation is that it was his lighthearted personality or his ability to laugh at any situation that did keep him apart from what was happening with Slanesh.
Right.
Which kind of messes with that whole like how insane is he in the insanity genius kind of like spectrum. Where is
Yeah.
the Laughing God? And even like we'll come to it later again, but like it does seem like the Laughing God has a plan that he's enacting through the Harlequins.
Yeah.
Whether or not anybody actually outside of the Harlequins believes that plan or not.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so the other thing about the Laughing God is the Harlequins believe that he can sometimes take form as a Harlequin and battle among them. Kind of that idea of like, there's angels among us.
Yeah.
Well,
I-
correct me if I'm wrong. He lives in the Black Library.
Yeah, that's where he's rumored to live.
Right. But if you're a Harlequin
Yeah.
and you're in the Black Library,
Yeah.
wouldn't you have met him?
Maybe he keeps
Because-
himself secret and hidden.
I don't know.
Because-
Everything's so secritive,
Yeah.
though.
Yeah.
Like, even
It was
that,
always
is it
my-
known that he's in the Black Library, or is that
Like,
the
why would a Harlequin,
speculation?
like, why would they choose this? Like, they're not hoarders of knowledge. Like, well, not chaos-specific knowledge. They are keepers of their history. And the Black Library isn't known to be, like, an Eldar repository of history. Right?
But
It's-
there would be that
Of course,
too.
but there would be that everywhere.
Yeah, it's just no, not necessarily. The thing is that makes the Black Library important is that it's a repository for all knowledge. Like it has knowledge on everything. It's just
Yes.
that people happen to want that warp knowledge over knowing Eldar history. Like
right,
that doesn't
or, like, the Paktrun history. No one cares
exactly,
about that.
exactly. But they do have they probably have like star charts in there and like all types of anything, you know.
But it was always my understanding that not only does, like, Kegarak, like, live and reside there, but, like, that was his seat of power. And that was where, like, he not necessarily ruled, but that was where, like, he directed his forces from. And so one of the reasons why I thought the Harlequins had such, like, a deep-rooted faith is because they've actually met him.
I don't think that's everything
Yeah.
that I'm seeing doesn't really point to anything that concrete. It's
Yeah.
way more. There's lots of speculation,
Yeah.
and there's lots of like. It seems like there's a lot of like the Eldar believe that this is what the Harlequins believe, but they don't
Yeah.
even know if what the Harlequins believe is true.
Yeah.
Right? They just know that they really fundamentally
Yeah.
believe it. And there's so much. I like the mystery around the Laughing God.
Yeah.
So for me, I don't want him to have like a home base and he's just hanging
Where
out.
people
in
can
the-
actually go meet him.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I like that he's much more mysterious than that, and you're not really sure what he's doing or how is he even interacting.
Yeah,
And even
yeah.
the Black Library, like there are guardian scribes that are at the Black Library that are like doing the work of looking after everything. But it doesn't even make it seem like the Harlequins are just waltzing into the Black Library and hanging
Picking up
out
a
there all
book,
the
yeah,
time.
reading it, yeah.
Like if it's
On
under
their downtime.
if it's
Yeah.
under attack, there's like they come and they help it, but I like the mystery that surrounds all of it. So I don't even like the idea of the Harlequin just showing up and having a picnic at the Black Library. And
Yeah.
like, oh, I got to check out a book, got to check up on some history. I don't
To
think
write a
it's-
new play.
because even because if we're going to talk about the Black Library, there's that psychic barrier or protective barrier that's around it.
Yeah.
That's going to prevent certain people from even being able to enter into that.
Yeah.
And so unless you have like some psychic ability or like we can come to it later, but there's certain units that are like basically soulless, right? Like that's
Yeah.
the solitaires, I believe.
Yeah, they're able to guard themselves against like Slanesh, and it helps them a little bit.
Because they have no soul. Their only hope is in the Laughing God, but the speculation is that allows them to enter into the Black Library because they can get past these barriers and
Yeah.
things where other Harlequins may not even be able to do that.
Yeah. So it's more they defend it as opposed to that's their base.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's kind of reworking my image.
But coming back to that idea of the Laughing God showing up as a Harlequin, kind of like that whole idea of back in the 90s, it was really popular. Like, there's a hitchhiker on the side of the road, and I picked them up and I gave them a ride, and then they were like, Jesus is coming, and then they disappeared, and you were like, that was an angel, wow. And that's like the Laughing God. He like shows up, he's just like a part of your troop,
Yeah.
does something amazing, gives you some instructions, and then is gone.
Yeah.
Right? And that's, I think, that's more how I picture them getting some information from the Laughing God.
Yeah.
Is that he's there, he smiles, he laughs, and then he's gone.
Yeah.
So it's more of a fanatical faith now, is like every other faith, but they get a lot. I don't know exactly what I'm trying to
I think so much
communicate
is
right now.
built on faith, right? Like, I don't think that the average Harlequin sat down and had dinner with the Laughing God.
Because that was
He's-
way more my thought process.
They are just
Oh,
going
no.
on the belief that that there is a mission that comes from their God, that this is what they're to do.
It always just seems so much more like faith driven and like belief driven than a lot of the other Eldar that I've seen. So I always thought like, well, there must be they must have like a
closer
real,
relationship or something.
yeah,
Yeah.
like a real experience with it to like drive that point
Yeah.
home.
Well, probably when they were founding, like the Harlequins, Segarak was probably like more involved then during like that initial founding process, and then that's probably where that's where they get that.
yeah, I don't know if you were planning on talking about the dance at all.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll get there.
Okay, good. Because that's where like I see Segarak's involvement a lot. Like in that interpretation of what happened.
Yeah, and near the end, we'll get to like the final act and kind of talk about some of
Ranadandra.
that. And okay, the last thing for Harlequins and the Laughing God is just that whole idea of the Harlequins have been fighting Slanesh since that time when the Laughing God called them in like M32
Yeah.
to be the Harlequins, and that a lot of their battles are behind the scenes, not even seen or known by other races or the Eldar, but that they're doing this secret, a lot of like tactical stuff from the webways, where they've been battling against Slanesh for the whole time. But even that to the Eldar, I think, would be a lot of speculation, right? Like,
Yeah.
we might know like that's what they were doing, but the Eldar are just hearing things and
and then the
piecing
Harlequins
things together.
show up every once
Because
in a
the
while.
Harlequins are not advertising that part of it.
Yeah.
They're advertising like, hey, we're here, we're doing the history.
Yeah.
We are like warriors, we can battle against anybody as necessary. But they're so much more focused on like the theatrical performance part of what they do.
The education piece.
Yeah, and then even like when they do like go and like do a battle, it's not like they're hanging out afterwards, you know?
Right.
Like,
Show up, help, leave.
yeah, or they're just do a performance afterwards. Like they're not just like hanging out with the common people having a drink, like sharing stories. Like they might fight, they might do their play or whatever, and then they're leaving. Like they're very
Mission based.
yeah. No, yeah,
And it keeps it mysterious,
Yeah,
right? Like
exactly.
they show up and then they're gone. It's like
Yeah.
the circus.
exactly.
It's just it shows up, you wake up, and then it's like the circus is in town.
Yeah, exactly.
You know how like a lot of old people hate the circus?
Old people hate
Is
the
that a
circus?
thing?
No,
No, that's
maybe
not
I'm
a thing.
Maybe I'm not communicating this.
Remember how your grandpappy used to sit you down and just complain about the circus?
Those damn
No.
circuit troops.
Like back in the day, like troopers like were not welcomed. People
Oh, yeah,
like
they're
by-
normally like
Freaks, you mean?
outcasts.
Like,
No,
yeah,
but, like-
carnies.
Yes,
and-
this
okay.
is the more theme
All right,
that I'm trying
yeah.
to get to.
All right,
People like mistrusted them
Yes.
because that's where your daughter went in the middle of the night. That's where like your son
I don't
disappeared
think that's what
off
the
to.
Harlequins are.
No,
though.
I don't think
I
so.
think
That's
it's
what I
the
was
opposite.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think they're
Are
well
there any
respected.
bearded women in the Harlequins?
But that
Eldar can't grow facial hair. They're too good for that.
yeah, but that was what I was like. Do you think there's like someone who treats them as in like, oh, the Harlequins, like hide your children, they'll steal your children,
I could almost see that.
right?
That's
Just in
definitely
like
not
the
a
funny, like
it's
to
not
them
like a
it's a joke.
commonplace, but like the Harlequins are getting recruits, new Eldar from somewhere. So like,
Is everyone willingly joining?
That's an interesting
yeah,
thing
like
to think about.
Yeah, I don't know.
running away from home to join the Harlequins, and your parents disapprove.
Yeah,
Right, like, and so then the parents forever would have a bitter taste towards
Yeah.
the Harlequins because your son abandoned the path he was on to
Yeah.
join them.
Yeah, I
don't
can
know.
see that. I can see it.
I don't think that's like the common
No.
theme with them, but yeah,
Or
definitely.
even if like you see that, you still see the necessity of
Yeah.
what the Harlequins do.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right, it's like the aspect warrior. Like someone has to abandon the path in order to do this, right? But you don't want to do it, but someone has to.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. What's next? What do we got?
All right,
next
with the
here?
webway, we already touched on this a lot, but the Harlequins are, whether you want to consider them masters of the webway or just nobody knows the webway better than the
Yeah,
Harlequins.
that's the better way to put it. That they're the best at knowing the webway.
Kegarak is rumored to know every single path of the webway, and then that is where people would assume that the Harlequins get their knowledge from is from him because he's had all this time and he's been around forever, so he knows the entire construct back
Yeah.
and forth.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they seem to know a lot of the secret ways in and out of the webway, which is how they base their attacks. They're jumping out of the webway, doing a precision strike, and then jumping back into the webway,
Yeah.
even before people realize what's gone on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw a really interesting thing is that a lot of times, like the Harlequins will join a battle, like in the middle of enemy ranks, and before the commander even has time to like turn all his troops around, they're gone.
Right.
And they've just completely slipped back into the webway, watching the battle, trying to find like another opportune moment to strike, or maybe they just don't come back at all. And now you have to constantly deal with that fear of like, are these guys coming back or not?
Yeah.
One of the things I really like about the Harlequin is that it's difficult to know what's true and what's not.
And what's
Yeah,
like their
yeah.
myth.
And so,
it's
like-
still one of the secrets that 40K has not really touched. Where like they're slowly like fleshing out more about the Emperor, and then it's like the more knowledge we get, yeah, it takes away that mystery. And
Right.
I've always loved that mystery about 40K.
Yeah, and because I like it, it's do they know the webway as well as they seem? You know,
Yeah.
that they're like definitely making people believe that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But-
But are they in the webway fumbling around?
Right, yeah,
Like-
they're just like,
It's like, oh shoot, we're here, go, go, go.
Yeah, like, yeah. How long do they spend in the webway just trying to find their way to that one battle? Who knows?
Right.
But, yeah.
Then you have to mess with time, and it's a whole mess.
Yeah.
cool. Well, we already talked about the Black Library. I don't know if there's anything anybody else wants to say on that. But I think we got through.
The only other thing I'll just mention quickly on the Black Library is I forget
We'll have its own episode. That's number one.
There's one. They do have one Eldar, not one, but like they have a branch of Eldar in the Black Library. They're called like the White. Do you remember what they're called?
The book I read never actually said their name.
Oh,
but they are
remember.
white. They are white-robed Eldar, and I can describe them really quickly.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Are they the Guardian Scribes?
Yes,
They're
they are
Guardians.
So the cool thing about them is that in the book, the person, like the perspective of the person who was in the book, she was a seer, so she's looking at the skein of fate.
Yeah.
And these people had zero, what's it called? They didn't exist on this skein of fate.
Yeah.
Because every single person exists, right? Because every person can tug and twist fate.
Yeah.
And these people created a bubble around them, and they didn't exist.
Yeah.
So that's like one of the I guess, I didn't even know there was a psychic barrier around the Black Library, but maybe that's one of the reasons why they're allowed to enter it is because they didn't exist. But they were completely like unaffected by like this taint of chaos on this really powerful item that was affecting like a leader of a craft world.
Yeah.
Like this leader of the craft world who is like supposed to be like ridiculously powerful and ancient and wise, like he was being affected by this item, and these scribes unaffected.
Yeah.
Which was an interesting thing. Like, oh my gosh, if you have like these powerful people, why are they hiding in the Black Library?
Because they're looking after the Black Library. And that's the point I want to make is like the Black Library, why the Harlequins are quite associated with it. It's just there are like a bunch of specific Black Library Eldar that are actually like doing like reading the strands of time, dusting, doing stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, there's probably like chaos energies that are constantly trying to assault it to get in and protecting it. And, someone has to categorize all that knowledge.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the Black Library is a very unique scenario in its own right.
Yeah.
And deserves a full episode.
That's two. You only have one more time.
Only one more.
Use it wisely.
All right, then let's move into talking about the specific equipment that the Harlequins use and what kind of makes them unique. So they're in battle. They have a lot of cool stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of separates them from the other Eldar or any of the other races, I guess.
Yeah.
So the first thing is they have, it's called Agaith. It's their false face masks. So it's their masks that they wear. They come in kind of two
it's like that
varieties.
classic Greek-looking mask that you were talking about earlier.
Right.
Like the
it's
smile.
decorated. Kind of even in those like, is it the Shinto masks that they wear, right? That
the
are like
demon.
The demon kind of face. So that would be like a permanent kind of mask. It's like grotesque. It's something that doesn't change that they wear into battle. So that would be their false face mask. Then there are the face of death masks. That's the Marathag. Marathags is what they wear.
Keep going, Peter.
So those use like a small hollow generator across their face that then like they have recorded like the death agonies of like previous enemies, which they can like display on there. They can...
It's demonic faces that they'll put on, like terrifying visages, really anything that would like assault the psychology of the person that you're fighting against. And we kind of pondered the possibility of that mask like playing your fear. Like an Eldar being like a really psychic race and like just constantly like seeping like psychic energy around them. Like, is it so difficult to think that potentially they'll like tap into what your fear is, right? And then that mask just plays what it is your fear is. We thought maybe that would be an interesting...
Yeah. And here's the irony of that. So like Slaanesh, their greatest enemy, they have like what are called Keepers of Secrets, which basically do the same thing, just on their entire body, where they're able to tap into your deepest fears and like play against it, but they're also able to tap into your like deepest desires and play into that and like shape their body. So it's kind of interesting that the Harlequins also use a similar vein of thought when they're engaging their enemies.
They're one enemy, right? Like the great enemy.
Yeah. And they have a similar method.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
because everything is so like emotionally attuned for them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're displaying this horrible image across their face mask as they're going into battle with you. Warlocks wear very specific masks. They just keep theirs blank.
Like no emotions at all.
It's just completely blank. Like it's not a grotesque image at all. It's just like a blank slate for their mask.
Do they? Do you know why?
Well, I know that when we get to the Shadow Seer, the Shadow Seer is like, theirs is blank too, I believe, but it's like reflective, and that's kind of the one where you look at it and you see yourself in it, or you see like some weird version of like a history of what could be happening to you. That definitely ties into that psychic energy kind of stuff you're talking about. But I'm not sure if there's another reason why the warlocks keep theirs
I'll look
blank,
into it.
but I just know that it's like a distinctive thing in their models and everything is that they're blank. So the other thing, I mean, we talked right off the bat that they have very distinctive colored costumes that they're wearing, very much like the court jester, like you were saying, Jordan. They have like elaborate like colored hair and
lots of like flares and like extra added bits to make them like
checks
really like
and
pop.
like designs.
Well, the lozenge, like that lozenge shape, that is the shape of the laughing god. Like that's his distinctive marking, right?
Cool. So then the other cool thing they have is their flip belts. So that is the belt that they wear that it creates like a small anti-gravitic field around them that when they see those rocks and they're running towards them, they just leap off those rocks. They can leap extra high. Like the Eldar are pretty agile to begin with, but the Harlequins are even more so with these flip belts. So they're doing their spinning, their tumbling, their interpretive dance through the air as they're killing you. That's aided by their flip belts.
But it's quite a show.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
And then they have their hollow suits that are around them. So they're like, that is where they're moving, and it's not like camouflage in the sense that it blends into their environment, but it's more like that blurring, prismatic, everything is like broken into pieces. That's the field they create around them, which makes them harder to hit or to track with or to see where they're at. And it's distracting. And
the lines, and I thought this was really interesting because the lines like on a hollow suit, like the edges of who you are like start to break, and it leaves like trails of like multicolored, or they called it like polychromatic, like lights just start to like trail behind you, but these lights will like move all on your body, but the quicker you go, the quicker these lights go, to the point of where you don't even see the Harlequin anymore. You just see this blur of like lights that you can't focus on. And then, like, you're trying to hit this thing of lights, but really it's not even there because it's leaving a trail. And it's just another way, like, you can't track them.
And it's leaping and spinning and tumbling through the air, so it's even that much more chaotic as you're trying to track with them.
Yeah, exactly.
So those are kind of like the armor that they would have. Then they have some unique weapons that they use. So probably the coolest one is the Harlequin's Kiss, which is, it's a close combat weapon, and it kind of looks like a bee or a wasp stinger that's on their arm, and then they like move in with like a punch, and that it injects. It's like it shoots out and injects inside of them those monofilament that everybody loves. Goes inside of their victim and then like splits them into pieces from the inside.
Yeah, that's just
eviscerates
wild.
them.
Yeah, you don't want that.
Oh no. Oh yes.
Oh yes.
Then there's the Harlequin's Caress, which is same kind of thing.
Now, do you want this?
Wait, which of these do you want?
Yeah.
Well, you don't want the kiss. The kiss is bad.
Okay.
The Harlequin's like, hey, I'll give you a kiss. No.
Do not take it. Okay.
But then they're like, well, what about a caress?
Just a slight caress.
I'll take it. I'm going to take it.
Well, it's either that or the kiss. And I know the kiss is bad.
Yes, I'm going to take the caress. What's the caress?
So the caress.
What am I in for?
Well, Mark, I'm so glad you
Lucky
chose
door number one.
the caress today. Because the caress, I don't exactly understand even fully how it works, but it's like it allows them to reach into your chest. It's like, I don't know if it's vibrations or if it's
some type of phase field.
Yeah,
or
it's like a phase.
How like Necron can like phase out, or
so they
who knows?
shift through
Like,
stone.
Yeah, like
They punch you in the chest, phase into your chest, grab your heart, and then remove it
Oh, a
from your
caress.
chest. In a caressing manner.
I have been caressing wrong this whole time. I thought I was a good caresser.
So that's not what I want.
No,
Can I change
don't
my
worry.
mind
Don't
on
worry,
it?
there's one more. There's also an embrace.
I'll take this then.
The Harlequins embrace.
Right, of course. My brother.
This one has to be good.
It
then.
must be.
So this one shoots out. It's like a cloud of the monofilament that the wire. So it's like the kiss, but from the outside in this time. So it's able to more shoot the cloud of monofilament wire around them.
And then it just like tightens on them?
I guess it would. Yeah, it's like a net
There
almost
would-
is how I picture
There
it.
would be like a million pieces of you. Just like
Perfect.
you'd have
Slice and
bits.
dice,
You'd
yeah.
have like bits everywhere. Gross. So those are like the main ones. Like, do they?
Yeah,
use, like,
they also
their
use like shuriken guns and
yeah.
shuriken. They have all that kind of basic Eldar technology too. But
This is just a couple of things that they specifically use.
Yeah.
It would lead to very theatrical moments,
yes,
right? Like killing a guard with a shuriken. Sure, like his arm is gone, but if all of a sudden you ripped his heart out and you're holding it above him and he's like, no, right? Like very theatrical. Very
Yes, yeah. Okay.
drama, as they say in the theater world.
That's how we say it. Yeah,
I'm just trying to
That's
enter
right.
into your world, Peter.
That's right.
Theater.
The theater.
All right, let's look at just their battle units and like the structure of how they go into battle. So the main grouping that they have would be like a troop. So
I'm sensing a theme.
there is. It's a very strong theme. So
Is the troop gonna kill me?
Mark, just shut up and take your kiss.
Okay.
that's the whole idea, though. You're not intimidated by the troop of painted faces
And their kisses and caresses.
But they're actually very dangerous.
Oh, very. Oh, yes.
You find that out too late. It's too late by the time you learn.
Like, wow, what a pretty light show.
Oh, are you going to do a little show for me? Oh, are you going to perform?
I will gladly take a kiss. Okay, a troop.
All right, so yeah, a troop is made up of, they have troopers, which I believe are also referred to as like the players.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like your standard person, like the lowest.
Yeah. And
Theater
then in a
hands.
troop, you'd usually have like a warlock that would be part of that. And then a troop is led by an avatar.
Not to be confused with the avatar of Cain.
Yeah.
And yeah,
This would be the avatar of Celegrass.
Segarak.
Sure.
But also,
but this is, well, it's, I believe it's either it used to be called a troop master. They're also referred to as troop masters.
Yeah.
But now it seems like it's more avatar is what they're going with. I don't know if you guys know more about that.
Yeah, I wonder. Maybe it's just two names.
Yeah, because it seems like you can find it under troop master, you can find it under avatar.
Yeah,
Essentially,
yeah.
it's just the leader of a troop.
Yeah.
So these band of warriors that they have together. But then troops have a few like distinctions about them. So you could have a light troop, a dark troop, or like a twilight troop. And so it's again with the theme of those words kind of is the theme of how they do battle.
Okay.
And it's all built around the avatar. So whatever the avatar, as the leader of the troop, they kind of are the physical embodiment of these traits. So if
Yeah.
I'm a light avatar troop leader, then I'm going to be more like headstrong, aggressive. I'm going to act more like heroic.
Okay.
Whereas like if I'm dark, then I'm more of like that anti-hero kind of
Sinister.
yeah, exactly. I'm going to be vindictive, maybe a little bit more flamboyant. Those are the traits that I'm going to show. And then my troop is going to reflect that as well.
Okay.
And then Twilight is a little bit more in the middle. And so the Twilight, they're known for being more like really precise and anal and like really detailed. And then they also have these like cycles of transition, but it's very nuanced.
Huh.
It's kind of in the middle between light and dark. But if
Yeah,
you think
yeah.
of just like those themes, of light and think of dark. That's what they're going to embody, but it comes through the avatar first, and then the rest of the troop is going to kind of show that as well.
Oh, I get it. Light, dark, and then twilight goes in between.
That's right. And then they have specific markings for their troop that you would show on your models and things like that.
Preferred colors and whatnot.
Yeah, and then the avatars, they carry into battle, they have these like small batons that are then like a flag.
Yes.
And so after the battle...
Flaggers.
These are good.
Flag dancers.
Yeah, that's right. For their interpretive dances. They just, the streamers that they pull out.
There's literally like just an Eldar in the back, just like, go!
Flagging.
Team, go!
Calling in the airplane. This way. Okay. No, but they leave this, it's kind of like their calling card after a battle is over, where they like pulled out their baton and pulled out their flag, and it shows like their troop, and it's like, basically the Harlequin were here.
Yeah.
It's Joker. It's Joker's card.
It is kind of a little bit of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the basics of the troop. Then troops come together into a mask.
Okay.
And a mask, so it would have a high avatar. So same kind of deal. Just
Someone
the
leading
highest
them.
ranking.
Yeah,
That's
if
the
you
leader
have
of
four
the
troops
mask.
together, you select one of those avatars to become your high avatar.
That's right. And both for avatars and I believe it's the same for the high avatar, but they are chosen by like the members of the troop.
Oh, are they?
And so like if we were a troop, we would say, oh, clearly Jordan is the leader.
He's the most flamboyant
He's the
of the bunch.
avatar.
Right. If anyone, if
Best
I want,
dressed, I would say.
if I want anyone directing me with flag dancing, it's Jordan.
It's gonna be Jordan.
So yeah, I think that's a cool thing that they...
So
And also an avatar doesn't serve like forever.
Yeah, I
You could
was
be an
just about to
avatar
ask.
for a bit.
Yeah.
And then now it's like, now we need Eric to be the
yeah, because I guess like we're talking about combat roles right now, but like they also go around doing plays. So depending on the play that you're doing, you would want a different avatar to lead the play.
Well, and the avatar has like a specific role in the play. So
Yeah.
everybody, so if we're like just a troupe going and doing a performance,
Yeah.
then I believe it's the avatar is the one who plays the laughing god.
Yes.
And then when a mask is together doing a big performance, then it becomes the high avatar is the one that's playing the laughing god. And so
Okay.
every member of a troupe has a very specific role, first in the theatrical performance, but then also like a battle role.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, so a mask has a high avatar, and then we get to Shadow Seers, which
a cool
are
name.
really cool.
Yeah. And they're like the psychers. Like, yeah, while all our Eldar have psychic ability, these ones are actually able to like manifest powers psychically. More so than the other ones. They're just more like they can kind of feel the currents of the warp.
Yeah,
These ones
like
can
every
actually,
Eldar is attuned. These ones are training themselves to
Yeah.
use it for battle and or life.
Yeah.
And in the like theatrical performance side, they become the storytellers.
Like a narrator?
Yeah, like the narrator, the storyteller, they are weaving together the tale. So they're not acting in it, they're like kind of outside.
So they're
of
adding
it.
like music or sound effects or backdrops or things off in the side.
Well, and like their models have like these like tubes coming up out of like their backpack essentially. That's like grenade launcher kind of
Okay.
tubes.
Okay.
Are you
They-
trying to tell me they use these in their performances?
They do, because they have like a hallucinogenic almost kind of grenade that they shoot out during
Yeah.
the performance, it would
Perfect.
seem.
Perfect.
That then like creates the illusion as the performers are like dancing around
Yeah.
and doing their like storytelling and
I
all
think
of
it's
that.
also described too with the Shadow Seer that they'll also like psychically impart like information onto their audience too to help them like set that mood, set that tone or whatever, as
Well,
well
maybe
as
I like to think that it's like an emotion thing, right?
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
like
exactly,
if they're
like-
supposed to be feeling sad, like they'll help like tease the mind. So
Exactly.
like you feel like the tugs, or like if you're supposed to be angry right now, they'll
Yeah.
rile you up. or
yeah. So
something.
with those combined with hallucinogenic grenades,
You're gonna have a good
you're
time.
gonna have a good time.
Yeah. So in battle, the Shadow Seers can make Harlequins invisible to minds. So they're just clouding enemies' minds so that
Yeah.
Harlequins can go through.
Yeah.
More magic trickery.
Who wouldn't love them? Who wouldn't trust them when they come in and tell you stories? And then, they can strike terror in their enemies by creating unholy visions in their mind psychically. So, they're
psychological warfares.
So they are seers, like shadow seers. So just like the Eldar have seers. And these seers, again, how much is true, how much is not true, but it's believed that they see like the doom, again, very much with like the theme, for everybody in their like mask,
the skein of fate.
So they can see like when you're gonna die.
Yeah, exactly.
And they see for each person.
Well, the whole purpose of like an Eldar seer is that, like, especially in battle, like they are responsible for a group of Eldar and for watching all of their fates and making sure that the most positive fate possible happens.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, depending on how powerful of an Eldar seer you are, you get more Eldar to be responsible for. So these guys, they're responsible for their little group of people.
They're masked because they're part of a mask, not just a part of each troop.
Yes, but are you saying there's like one shadow seer per mask?
I don't know actually what the numbers would be.
Because
when I look at the composition of a mask, because it does show an image.
When I was reading it seemed like a seer is responsible for like a regular seer is for like 30 people, and that was like. That's enough to think of every possibility that might happen and try and prevent that. Right, because that was like the seer's job, and all they would do is they would tug one thing here and move one thing here, and that is what would change like the destiny of like the entire group of people. So do the shadow seers like fulfill that same role, where what they're trying to do is manipulate the skein of fate, or are they just witnessing the skein of fate?
I would say
if you witness it, you should be able to influence.
Yeah.
It, right?
Well, sure, but like unintended consequences, right? Like, cause in the story I was reading, like this one inexperienced person, and she like manipulated something, and it like messed everything up, and like someone had to like go back in and like fix everything for her. So it is like there aren't. It's not like there aren't any consequences for messing with this, and just with their name as a shadow seer, I more wonder if like do they view themselves as like just a shadow and like a bystander, or do they take like an active role in affecting the skein?
So I'm pretty sure that in each mask there would just be one shadow seer.
Because even like in combat and in like theater, you only need one narrator.
That's true. Right. Yeah, and if that person is responsible for like manipulating this like the fate for everyone, that's a very powerful seer.
Yeah, if they're able to do that.
Right.
So they, like we were saying with the warlocks that have the blank mask.
These are the ones with the reflective.
Right. So they have a blank mask, but when you look at it, it's like you're seeing, like in battle at least, but I don't know if you're just like chatting with the shadow seer. I don't know how casual you'd want to be. But
and then all of a sudden you're just like seeing your fears played.
Or no, your own doom, right?
Like you're trying to play it calm. Like you're not seeing like you're gonna die in 30 seconds, but you're just like, so how's the weather?
Right.
Yeah. They're said to be more powerful than like even seers from Craft Worlds.
Okay, that makes sense then.
Yeah, like
that would make sense.
Like the Harlequins are like the best of the Eldar race. Like they're quicker, they're smarter,
that's cool.
Funnier.
Funnier?
The other thing about them is that they're the only psychers that are allowed with the Dark Eldar.
Yeah, they have like a pass to walk around
travel
and,
through and
which
Kamara.
which is crazy actually to think about.
So they're very highly respected as being a shadow seer among the Harlequins.
What would you say their power level is?
Are we talking Dragon Ball Z levels or
yes?
Yeah. I don't know.
Is it over 9,000?
It's going to take at least 6 episodes to charge that up. That's how powerful.
Whoa. Half a season.
And then for a weapon, they carry a mist stave.
It sounds like you're saying a mist stave.
A mist stave. Mist.
It's a mist stave.
A mist stave.
Yeah.
Is their weapon, which does like psychic crushing damage, like when they beat it with you,
type thing.
Sure, but more with psychic. I would say more a force weapon.
Oh, okay.
than a power weapon, but yeah. So they just tap you with it, but really it's like it crumples your body,
Okay.
like through psychic powers.
Oh, and that's like kind of like the joke, right? Like, you know, like slapstick humor.
I guess it could be that would
Right,
be,
but they're
that would
just
be
like going
entertaining.
around like tapping everyone on the head, right? And all you hear is like a clink, clink, clink. But in reality, you're dead.
It's not a good time.
It's not a good time.
Yeah. All right. Then in a mask, you're gonna have your high warlock, just your leader of your warlocks.
Yeah.
Pretty standard. Then probably my favorite name of all of the Harlequin units. You've got your Master Mime.
Ah, perfect.
The Master Mime.
He's the best at miming.
Yes.
So,
Now, are we talking about the miming I'm thinking about?
oh yeah.
Not mining.
Oh no,
Oh,
Mark,
not Minecraft?
Mark's trapped in a box. He can't get out. He's trying.
He's drowning.
oh no.
He's drowning.
He's
gone.
We
And
lost
he shit
Mark.
himself.
Goodbye, Mark. Put him down.
All right, so the mimes they're the ones who, okay, from a performance side, they're the ones who go out and figure out where they're going to do a performance. So you send the mimes in first.
Send
the mimes!
The ones that don't talk.
Right.
So then they're super quiet, and then they mime like when somebody walks by, they're like miming a tree. It's just a tree.
They're like, we're just observing.
Yeah, yeah.
Trying to see.
So yeah,
perfect stealth
they let
tactics,
everybody
yes.
know, hey, that we're coming, we're going to do a performance. They're kind of advertising. I think they also do some of like the recruiting as well.
They would. It sounds like they have a very public role.
Yeah, they're kind of the first ones that you would see of the
You ever
Harlequin.
heard about the Laughing God?
So then they would come and do like a big performance, and they're also in battle. They also are infiltrators, assassins. That's kind of their role. And then the master mime is just the leader of the mimes. So, but it's
Commanding all the minds.
it's a ridiculous name for the even for the Harlequin. It's
Even
getting
for
a bit
them.
ridiculous now. But then we get to another really cool unit, which is the Death Jester.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, pronounce their Eldar word. Megarak.
Megarak.
Magorich.
Oh, Magorich. Yes, they're Russian. I forgot.
Of course.
I forgot.
Sigorach. Magorich.
Yeah, okay.
Arabanian. Thesden. Destar. We're getting this. Let's do this. It's Russian, clearly.
Clearly.
So what do the Death Jesters do then?
They are the heavy weapons specialist. So there'd be one of them in a mask. In like the performance, because there's always that performance side with the Harlequin, they play the part of death.
Oh, cool.
And so they're the only ones who play death. They are known for having like that morbid, kind of dark, dry sense of humor.
Perfect.
So that's like their representation of the Laughing God it's really messed up. The Death Jester.
They sound like fun people. to be
Sounds like
around.
people we belong with.
So the Death Jester wears the skeleton, the bones of the previous Death Jester.
Really?
Yeah, so the Death Jester. So you were the Death Jester.
Yes.
You died.
Yes.
And then I'm
naturally.
like,
No, horribly.
No, I mean like, of course I
of course you died. And then I'm like, well, I guess it's my turn to be the Death Jester. So I take your bones, and that becomes the uniform that I'm wearing. And there's also some sort of like protection that comes from it.
Of course, Peter, because I don't want you to die.
I mean, I don't know how strong Eldar bones are, but apparently that's worked into the costume. So you're
must
wearing
be a psychic thing.
you're wearing your predecessor's bones, and then when you die, like
What happened?
so you died.
Yes.
Eric died.
Yes.
I wear his bones.
Of course,
Then-
naturally.
Then I die, and Mark is going to be the next Death Jester.
So whose bones does he wear?
He doesn't wear Eric's.
What?
He wears mine.
Mark,
Now-
how dare you?
Now, what happens though if you got killed, Peter, by like a flesh dissolving weapon? So now there's
just
only
bones everywhere?
bones. What do I do?
Whose bones is he gonna
How
wear?
can I distinguish the two sets of bones?
Hopefully, I have lived long enough that his bones are noticeable. They are.
Wow.
okay.
Wow.
I survived so long. Your bones are old. Really, I mean, look at
Creaky.
Eric. Yeah,
Specimen of a man.
riddled with disease.
no, you'd be like, you'd pick up Peter's skull and my skull, and you're like, One of these, this guy was 6 feet. The other one was 7 feet. Who was who? His head is twice the size of mine.
You give me too much credit for observing things.
Like everything with the Harlequin, doesn't matter. It's just for show.
Okay.
It's just the secret performance. Just so you can walk around saying, I am wearing the bones of my predecessor.
And then do a dark little laugh like,
Isn't that hilarious?
Like, this was his funny bone. Right?
And then they have a special weapon that they use, which is the Shrieker Cannon.
ooh, yes.
So it fires a single shot of acid that's full of like viruses that penetrates
It's
inside
already an
of the
acid.
victim.
Why do you also need viruses?
40K.
And so when you're shooting it, it shrieks as it's going through the air.
So now it makes whistle noises.
That's right. And when it implants into the enemy,
Implants.
that's
Yes.
right.
Right.
Because you got to release that acid and virus all
my
through
gosh.
them. So then the victim would like come down with a fever,
Oh.
not feeling so good.
How long does this
Something-
weapon take to have effect?
know.
Like the person goes home and like a week later they're like, "Ma, I don't feel so good."
Don't feel so good.
And then they explode. And then
Yes. Yes.
it's meant to be like a demoralizing weapon so that you're like tightly packed. You blow up one of them, and then their guts and face and blood is all over
Very
their
theatrical.
friends.
And then you go around, you collect their bones. You make a bone throne.
Sculpture.
Sculpture. It's said too that this weapon is only be able to be maintained by the Death Jester.
Yeah, I did read that.
Yeah. So
They're the only ones who know how to maintain it, so they're the only ones who use it.
yeah.
Yeah, so that's the Death Jester.
I like the way they look. I like the flare of the neck they have. They make me
Sure.
think of like a really classy like 1800s vampire.
Okay.
That's like the image I get, but like with like the really stretched like smile and mouth. But I really like that whole feel to their model. Like they're probably like my favorite Harlequin model.
Yeah.
Better than all the other ones. I really don't like the colors on any of the other ones, but it's because
Oh.
I'm not a member. I'm not insane.
Oh.
So.
Fair enough.
All right, then we've got the Solitaires.
Yeah.
So Solitaires they're soloists. They travel around the universe. They don't travel with the rest of the Harlequins typically.
Yeah, so they're not a part of any specific troop then?
They can come and be part of a mask.
Okay.
So they're not a part of a troop.
Yeah.
But they'd come in when needed. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think you could kind of like,
They're
ask for
honorary
one.
members, but they're not a permanent
Yeah. They're going to show up. It's kind of up to their own whims.
Yeah.
I
When
don't know
needed.
if that's true.
I
Yeah,
think
when
they-
needed, because you cannot perform the fall of the Eldar without them.
But you're not always performing.
But
the
if they're
fall.
not
Right,
there,
but-
you're just not doing the fall of
but
the
if you're
Eldar.
like,
it's
if
not
you're like,
in
man,
your
like
control.
we're going to a craft world, and now we have like a bunch of troops going there, and we really need to perform the fall because they haven't seen it in
Yeah.
X amount of years.
I
What
think-
they just wait for a soloist, or they call one?
Yeah, I think because it brings up an interesting point about the command structure of the Harlequins and like how, because it does seem like there's a lot of these different units that are in control of themselves.
Yeah.
So I think the Solitaire has like the most control. So I don't think you're so much telling a Solitaire, hey, you better be here on Thursday because we're going to be doing this performance.
Yeah.
As much as you're like, oh, you're here, let's do the performance.
Yeah,
like,
I
will
think
you
I
stay?
like that better than like they're trying to schedule them in somewhere.
Because even in like the
No,
structure
yes.
of a mask, like a Solitaire is at the top. So I don't think people are telling them what to do
Yeah.
as much as they are
Yeah.
in control. All right, so
I don't like that.
You don't have to.
So here's the interesting part to me is so Solitaires have lost their souls. And so at death, they are doomed to be claimed by Slanesh.
So he's like,
That is crazy.
Slanesh has like already taken the soul. Then
they've done something to lose their soul, or I believe they've got some history. they've made some mistakes. I'm not exactly sure what that looks like, but that's really interesting to me. is that's why they're not a part of the rest of the group.
Yeah.
They're on their own. They're wanderers. They got that wandering madness.
They probably could just never be accepted by other Eldar.
Yeah, I would imagine they're a lot like human
Pariahs.
pariahs, where it's like you just get that uncomfortable feeling around them, where they're like soulless and you
And,
just get
like,
a weird vibe.
So when I was reading the Eldar book, like these people who like weren't on the path of the warrior passed by a couple of people who were on the path of the warrior,
Yeah.
and just being on that path made the other Eldar cringe. Right? Because that was like, oh no, like you're taken by Cain.
Yeah,
right?
you can sense their like violent
The
intense.
violence in the
Yeah.
blood, right? And then
Yeah.
and then you get someone like this who doesn't even have a soul.
Yeah.
That would be an abomination.
Yeah.
Right? Like you're already doomed to be sucked into the soul of the one person we all fear.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, of course you wouldn't want to spend any time with that person. It would just make you so uncomfortable.
Well, especially when you're so much about like the dance and laughing and
Yeah.
having fun together. And then there's the solitaire, who just is the downer. Even the death gesture, you're like, okay, you're morbid. Your sense of humor is really messed up, but I still get it.
But it's
right?
like I'll still do the uncomfortable
right,
laugh.
like, yeah, we're still laughing
Right.
together.
I don't
Then
feel
there's-
good about laughing, but I am because it's funny.
Then it's the solitaire, like, ooh.
Right. Nobody wants to be around the solitaire.
But because they have their only hope is in the laughing god, and so they are like so focused on that.
Yeah.
Because they know they're doomed otherwise.
Okay.
Now they are the ones who in the performance play Slanesh, like you were saying.
The only ones who can play that thing because everything is so attuned.
Yeah.
Like they don't have a soul to be corrupted.
Yeah.
So-
Anyone else who takes on that identity of Slanesh is going to get like possessed.
Right, exactly. But these ones, there's no danger of them doing that.
So then I don't think it's actually the mimes who are recruiting. I think it's actually the solitaires who do the recruiting, which seems
really?
a little weird.
Yeah, that does.
It makes sense because they're the most like available
Yeah.
to kind of just go wherever and
Yeah.
travel around and recruit. But it also seems like, is that really the guy you want?
Right,
Is that
exactly,
the girl
like-
you want talking about.
But it's look at this guy. Like he's so fun and he can bring so many people to the Harlequins and the solitaire is like, no, I will do it.
Come and join the laughing god.
Right,
we have
exactly.
so much fun. It's great. You'll love it.
It's so good. We're just a real tight-knit group.
And just like you were saying, like no one wants to be around the solitaire. There's actually like it's believed that they're cursed. So if you even touch a solitaire, it's like you're getting their soullessness on you, and you're cursed now.
Well, it's just-
I
it's-
wonder if they actually. Sorry, Eric. Go.
No,
for it.
it's just like that. Everything about an Eldar is their soul.
Yeah.
Right? And like everything about it. And so to lose it, like you are no longer, like you can't fit anywhere.
Yeah.
But not only that, but you'd be disgusted.
Yeah.
Like you're a disgusting creature. So that's all I'm trying to say is like,
Yeah.
yes, of course that makes sense to me.
So I wonder if like Eldar also have like a pariah gene, and like these guys are actually born soulless, because we also know like we were talking about like the ones in the Black Library who have no fate. Those could also almost be like that soullessness.
and-
So
sure, that makes
I wonder
complete sense.
if
And-
like
Yeah, and that's why it's the solitaires that are believed to be able to go into the Black Library and just it has no effect on them. They
Yeah.
can just hang out.
So these are the
there.
same people. They just perform different roles, and they have
Yeah.
different.
Yeah.
They have different wants. Like a solitaire at
Yeah.
least wants to be out in the galaxy making a change, whereas
Yeah.
these guys are resigned to the fact that they stay in the library.
And maybe you're given the choice. Maybe it's like, do you want to be a librarian and hang around the books all
Yeah.
the time, or do you want to travel the galaxy and be like the most amazing warrior?
Yeah, because like at birth and probably even before you're born, like if it is like a gene, the Eldar would know about it. They'd be able to sense like, oh, this one
It's messed up.
So they might even be calling for like these other people to come get him to join like the Harlequins or that other group.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So a solitaire is equal to a full squad or like a troop of lesser warriors in battle. So they are super,
Really good.
really, really good. And because they have no souls, psychic powers have no effect on them.
This
See,
is where you really get the pariah
Yeah.
flavor.
Yeah. They're
Yeah.
completely fearless too.
Are they?
Sure.
Well, it
Yeah,
helps
no,
when
it's-
even the powers of chaos can't touch you.
Yeah, what's going to hurt you more than
Right, like
you're already so
ooh,
cursed and messed
a
up?
bullet. Ooh, a bolt gun. I'm so worried.
Yeah.
Yeah, so those are the different units that make up the Harlequins.
The mask.
So
The
we'll
mask that are in a mask.
We'll go around the table. Which one are you? Which, if
All right.
you were an Eldar in 40K,
Yes. Okay,
Which
I'm a
one of the-
mastermind.
you can't do that. That's Peter. I'm just kidding. Mark, what are you?
I don't know.
Okay, Jordan.
I think being a shadow seer would be cool.
I'm a death jester.
Oh yeah, you think you have a morbid sense of humor? Do you?
Yes.
Do you?
Yes.
Tell me a joke, Eric. Tell me
No.
a morbid joke.
It's too bad.
Tell me.
All right, so your daughter is lying dead on the side of the road.
See, I'm laughing. This is not morbid.
Peter, what are you?
I'm probably an avatar
Oh, of course. Okay.
of light.
Oh
clearly.
my.
I see that. Yeah,
Of course. Yeah. Mark, what are you?
I'm just a guy, man.
You're a trooper.
I'm not good.
trooper.
I'm just a trooper.
He's just a trooper.
Yeah, I'm not good enough
He's
to be
just
anything.
happy to be here. That's all.
He laughs at all the jokes.
I'm just a guy.
Even the death jester, he's just like, this is so good.
He's
Isn't
like,
this so
the
good?
Solitaire says something, and everyone else is like, "Oh, yes, sir." And Mark's like, "Ah!"
He's about to like slap on the back and then, oh, right, no, I'm not allowed to touch you. It'd be better if I killed myself than touch you.
Yeah,
That's
I'm one of
funny.
them. Yeah,
Oh boy.
just a commoner, you know. So they also have like vehicles and stuff like that help them in battle. So like they have all these different ranks and troops and whatever, but they also need a way to get around. So they have like Sky Weavers, Star Weavers, Void Weavers, and Venoms. So
So the Sky Weavers, Star Weavers, and Void Weavers, these are just bikes,
no, I think
or like they jets.
I think the Sky Weaver is a bike. The Star Weaver and the Void Weaver are two patterns of kind of like
Right.
hover
ship.
vehicle. Yeah, like a
troop carrier?
yeah,
isn't
like
it?
a.
Or
I think it's like a
gunship?
more like a gunship, like a 5-man gunship
Oh,
type
okay.
thing. Like
So the Sky Weaver is like the hallmark, right? Like a lot of times, like at least for me, I know I've been seeing like some Harlequin armies on like Twitter and Facebook recently,
Yeah.
and I always see them like crouched on these bikes. And is that
Yeah.
that's the Sky Weavers?
Sky
yeah,
Weaver.
yeah,
Yeah.
And then the Venom is a Dark Eldar vehicle. Very very similar in design to the Star Weaver and the Void Weaver. Just it has spikes, I guess.
Of course.
Chains, maybe.
Right.
Couple scowls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Couple places to hold slaves.
Yeah.
Captive Xenos races.
Yeah. Bottles of like poison that are just, waiting to be kicked over and spilled.
Right.
So the Void Weaver is a gunship, and the Star Weaver is a transport.
Oh, okay.
Well, there you go.
So one has a heavy weapon on it, but it's the same vehicle pattern,
Same
just
chassis.
different.
Yeah. Yeah, because even like if you're buying the models, you just choose
you
if you're
pick.
gonna make one or the other.
Yeah. So this allows them to be extra quick because they're all like these super sleek looking like floating anti-gravitic craft, and this allows them to like navigate the webway and just appear where they need to be, and makes them really super quick.
Oh, just really super quick, guys.
Super quick.
Okay. I'm pretty sure that's everything when it comes to like their organization.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like their gear and how they fight and when they fight and stuff like that. So, Peter, you had listed here a couple notable Harlequins, and I'm assuming you know a couple things about them.
Yeah. I could see why you would assume that.
Yes,
Yeah.
because you wrote them down.
Because I did put them on the list.
We had notes for this episode.
But
well, Mark,
Where have those been?
You're literally on the page.
yeah, I don't really know what to say about them.
Just
too much.
tell us their names.
So we've got.
It'll be fun. It'll be fun for me. I
You
think.
ready? We got Ailil Nuanda, which is a shadow seer.
Idiot can't even read.
Then we've got Salandri Veilwalker, another shadow seer. And we've got Laerial Ray, which is another shadow
Laerial, hey?
That's totally how it's spelled, dude.
Not Larial?
Oh, well, all right, fine. Laerial. Hey,
Laerial.
you put an H in there, and I know you want it to be silent.
The H is silent.
But I'm saying Laerial.
Laerial.
Laerial. Now, I know that there's probably some, like, huge Harlequin fans. They, like, downloaded this podcast right away.
Oh, yeah.
Just to hear all the speculation about these three very specific shadow seers.
We'll tell you what. They're gonna get their own episode.
That was your third one. There we go. Now we don't have to touch them.
No, not at all. Well, I mean, I still kind of want to touch them.
With your touches.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know anything about these guys.
Yeah. What happened was we didn't write any episode notes, and then like a couple days before we were recording, we go into a Google Drive, and Peter wrote a bunch of notes, and then we're like, well, now do we make notes?
Well, it would have been rude.
It would have been rude to delete all his notes.
Yeah, of course. And then redo our own notes.
Yeah.
So that's why we stayed with Peter's notes.
Yeah. It's been amusing. It's been nice to just sit back and listen to you guys.
I'm sure your fans are hating it. They're like, shut up, Peter. We came here to hear from Eric and Mark and Jordan.
The one review I got was like, came for the Warhammer, stayed for the cock jokes or something like that. something like that.
Hey, that's us. Okay, so after these notable Harlequins, you have listed notable masks.
Okay, so they do just have a ton of masks.
And these are just like any armies, right? Just like how there's a bunch of different craft worlds, there's a bunch of different masks.
But it's interesting I wasn't able to look through all of them
because you have like 20 listed
because
here.
there's a million of them. But it's interesting because they each have like a very different purpose. And sometimes it's a little bit strange to me how they are. So the first one is the Mask of the Dance Without End. And so they are supposed to be the closest to the Laughing God. And so they're all about the Laughing God, and they are kind of the closest to him. And they have specific, they do the performance, which is called the Spiral of Mirth and Madness. And so there's some really cool flavor to each of these different masks. Yeah. Then the next one is the Mask of the Dreaming Shadow. And so they just are self-appointed that they're all about Necron and just killing Necron. Even to the point where it gets interesting is that's not the Harlequins' main mission. Yeah. And so even to the cost of not seeing the Laughing God do everything that is supposed to be done, they're still I gotta kill these Necron. Yeah. Which is, there's a little bit of a pull even within some of those masks between their main purpose and then some of the things that
because I'm sure each one of them has their own specific performances. So these guys, all their performances are probably
War in Heaven.
Yeah, exactly. Telling that kind of stuff. And that's why they...
Right, so their performances are all based around way before Slaanesh. Yeah. Here's the history of us, with the old ones. Yeah. And with the Necrontur and all that stuff.
Yeah. And then the Mask of Frozen Stars, they are... they're terrorist Harlequin, where they just show up and they will fight anybody, anywhere. They're fighting against the Tau, they're fighting against the Imperium. They just pop out and just slaughter and disappear back into the webway.
Yes. My favorite. Perfect. Yes.
My favorite. I can really connect.
Yeah.
With this as a member of the Imperium. I love indiscriminate fighting.
Yes. So. They're telling the story of the Imperium then, and they're all there.
Right, exactly.
And all their stuff.
They're hey, you guys know that humans hate everything? Well, this is what it looks like.
Yeah. Enjoy.
Yeah. I like that it says that the Mask of Frozen Stars is well known for their players' irrepressible sense of humor. So they have this great sense of humor, but they just pop out and just doesn't matter who you are, they just kill you, and then they're gone. But they have a great sense of humor.
I like the beginning of the show when they were telling jokes. Not a fan of the end where they killed all my friends.
Yeah, that wasn't as good.
So yeah, then there's a bunch of other ones. You can look at.
Let's just list some names.
Sure.
So there's the Mask of Reaper's Mirth. There's the Mask of the Laughing Circus.
My favorite is the Mask of the Winter Sun.
Of the.
Yes.
Peter, can you confirm whether or not it's the Mask of the Winter Sun?
Or is that a typo? And my favorite thing has been a lie.
I would never make a typo. So clearly that is part of the lore. Some of the other ones that are kind of maybe a bit more well-known is the Mask of the Silent Shroud, which are very stealthy.
Lots of mimes.
I'm
That's
curious
why it's Peter's
when...
favorite.
Morning Mists.
You're curious about what?
When they released the Harlequin Codex, what their like main
Yes, because they're going to
army
release like their
special
stratagems.
rules,
Or,
are
oh,
going
no.
to be
Yeah, like their codes.
yeah.
I can't remember.
Well, depending on who, like they would call them different masks, right?
Right,
Where if
yeah.
you're Space Marines, they call them chapter tactics.
Chapter
If
tactics,
you're
that's right.
Necron, they're dynasty. So I'm curious what their mask specific.
Yeah, like which ones will they pick?
Yeah.
They'll pick very like very specific ones. Like
Yeah.
like there will be like one general one. Like if like definitely you do the Dance Without End, right? Because that's like your general like
Right.
that's your Ultramarine version, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Right, like
Sure.
or just like how your Cajun.
No, I know what you're saying. Yeah,
right.
yeah.
And then you like break into like your very unique ones. So
Yeah.
that'll be kind of cool to see the different flavors that you'll get between the masks in that codex. Okay, so let's talk about some recent history of the Harlequins.
Okay.
So
I will talk about that.
yes,
Here we go.
open your mouth.
So this is
Make the
where,
words.
like in more recent times, the Harlequins have been growing. There's like a boom among the Harlequin where there's a lot more Eldar than in the past that are actually like taking up the Harlequin mask, leaving wherever they're from with the Eldar to come and join the Harlequins. And it's one of those things where people don't exactly know why or what's going on.
Yeah.
But they're just seeing more and more from the craft worlds, Exodites, wherever they are. They're joining the Harlequins. So there is a boom there. And then the final act. So obviously there's been like big stuff happening in the universe, and there's
Yeah.
important pieces that are going into place. So in the Black Library, there is apparently a book of the Laughing God.
It's a white book.
Is it white?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
And it's white, and it's covered by chains, and there's candles all around it.
Okay.
And it is chained shut.
And
Yeah,
the
and they're
candles
like
are
these-
white. The chains are white.
I
The
don't-
bookshelves
I don't
are
think
white.
the chains are
Everything
white.
The
is
chains
white.
are, there's like this
Floor is
yellow
white.
energy or
Yeah.
these yellow bindings is
Mark,
what
that's enough out of you.
I read.
I just there was those guys with the white robes or whatever.
No, it is a theme.
Everything's
It is
white.
a theme. It is a theme. A white theme.
In the
That way-
Black Library.
It's the yin yang. Anyways, but yes, this book is, and the reason it's important in recent history is that the candles around the book have started to go out.
Dun, dun, dun.
Give me some theme music. What I wanted at all.
Oh shit! I'm not very good at this.
So, in this book, the final act, and all the Eldar.
So the chains that are around it, the candles you're saying are going out. The
Yeah.
chains have like lost their power. They're
Yes.
being released.
Yes,
So then
and the book has opened.
is open.
Yes.
So they're reading through, and this is supposed to be the words of the
Okay.
Laughing God.
Yeah, this is like his like penmanship, and it's like written in like light and shadow and
Right.
blood, and like it's not like a regular book. This is a very special book, especially to all those who like believe in the power of the Laughing God.
Oh, it's a crystalline book. Okay, that's the white. It's like crystal.
Okay.
Is the book. That's awesome.
Okay, so in this, and all Eldar kind of believe in the Rana Dandra, which is like the mythical battle.
The last battle.
It would
the-
define like the whole galaxy as a whole. This is the final clash of like good versus evil, and whoever wins will rule the galaxy forever.
But what the Eldar have always believed is that it's doomed.
Right.
Like-
Because ever since Slanesh came, they're like, we have no chance. I mean, obviously with Yanid,
Bunch
it's
of
a
losers.
little different now. But the Laughing God, in this book, there are now like passages and I don't want to say like scriptures, but really it's like prophecy.
It's like not scriptures, but a script.
right.
Because their whole theme is the play and
I
the
guess,
performance.
yes, it's a-
and so
it's a
this
screenplay.
act.
It's
it
a
is.
screenplay.
It's this act of a play that is kind of considered to be the Laughing God's
plan
ultimate joke.
on
that-
Slanesh.
Right. That from before the fall, during the fall, whatever, even like when you go back to the question of like the Laughing God and the fall is taking place and he's separated and he's just laughing it up and just chuckling. But is that because he's always had this plan.
Yeah.
And that this
and now
is
it's coming
now
together.
all the pieces of the puzzle are coming together to now where his plan can be put into action. And the whole reason why I don't think that the Laughing God is just hanging out in the Black Library is because of this book that's there, right? If the Laughing God's there,
Yeah.
you don't need a book.
Yeah.
You just go and knock on his door and say, "Hello, Laughing God."
Hey, I noticed you wrote this crazy book out here. You want to tell us a little more about it?
Just tell us what to do. Because what's written in the book isn't very clear.
No, it is stated to be infuriatingly vague.
And so that's where they're trying to, on a like this large cosmic scale, they're trying to save the Eldar. They're trying to change fate for their future and the ultimate battle, the ultimate end. And now they have hope. So that's why they're so fanatical in their belief in the Laughing God, is because they do have some evidence.
And so his like final act, like his ultimate joke, is that in the final moments of this Ranadandra, which is like the last battle, Slanesh is going to devour all the Eldar. That is the final moment. And what Kegarak's joke
His
is
joke,
that
yeah, 'cause that's
he's
what they
gonna
believe is gonna
trick,
happen.
he's going to trick Slanesh into, instead of...
Wait. Let's just make sure Slanish isn't listening right now before we reveal this.
No, I warded the room. Don't worry.
Okay, they're good. Then you can tell.
Slanesh, if you could just turn off the podcast now.
Earmuffs, Slanesh.
Come back on in 30 seconds.
So Slanesh will expend all her energy to devour the race, but instead...
trying to do.
Right, and that's what everyone believes,
Right.
like there was no hope, right? But Kegarak is like, no, I'm going to trick Slanesh instead to expending all the energy that she has to save the Eldar race. And that would be his ultimate joke upon Slanesh. Right? That's like the big thing. That's his goal. But how to do it, and the book makes that clear. That's
that's the
clear.
goal.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But how to do it, that's what is the
So we're-
infuriatingly vague.
We're here
No, step
where we
one,
want to go.
Step one,
yes.
make the Harlequins. Step 2, tell the story. Step 3, question mark.
Yeah.
Step 4, save the Eldar race. That's it.
Yes,
It is,
perfect.
yeah.
Perfect. Seems reasonable to me.
Yeah. In this book, like everything seems to be hitting like a pinnacle. Like even in the Imperium,
Right.
Even in like Eldar, Necron, like everything is heading to a point right now.
And all of those things had to happen for the book to be unlocked. It's like those different pieces. That's why the book is opened at this time. And so
kinda
now
cool.
they're going to continue. They've always been fighting Slanesh, and they've always been trying to like manipulate things or do things from the webway pop out and at important moments and times. But now there's this frenzy of like it's so important that they do this,
Right.
and that's why the Eldar are flocking to them to see. Okay,
Yeah,
what's
the
gonna
sense of urgency is starting to pick up within
Yeah.
these people.
So, like, out of universe, is this little bit about this book like new lore? Do we know that?
I
Is
don't
this, like,
think I've ever heard about this book before. And I've read about the Black Library, and this is like a very defining feature of it.
Yeah. So, like, it's safe to assume that this is like their 8th edition, like little jump forward.
That's my guess.
Okay.
Right? And that's one of the reasons why, like this whole thing with you get the book, and then you get the fact that Games Workshop has had even more Harlequins are like being created now.
Yeah.
Now instead of just being like a sideshow,
Yeah.
Right.
now they're taking the stage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you guys like that?
Yes.
No.
The stage.
Yes. Oh.
The stage. Say it again. The stage.
No, I don't want to now.
Because of the theme of them being performers.
Okay.
See,
And
you do that to
performers
me
use a
all the time when I
stage.
make my shitty jokes. Now, how do you like it?
Because they're shit jokes, Mark. They're literally just about crap. But yeah, like this is what is giving them like their cosmic purpose.
Oh, that's
Right.
cool.
Which
Interesting.
is yeah. I just like when I was like reading the description of the book, it was like the candles are starting to go out and the chains are losing power, and I was like,
Yeah.
this is like to be that person like watching this happen. You'd be like, oh,
Guys!
You're just mopping the floor.
exactly. Just like
Done it forever.
and then it's just like. And you're like, what? Oh, who's there? And then you're like, wait a second, that candle should never go out. And then the next one, and the next one, and the chains start falling off. And just like that, like everything in your life is purpose is like crashing in on yourself like right now. That moment is just cool and like would be cool in anyone's life.
Cool.
Yeah, and that's I don't know. Like, is there anything else about the Harlequins that?
No, I learned quite a bit about them actually. They're one of the few factions where like I knew about them at a glance, but like I never really looked into them. The whole clown thing never really appealed to me.
They're not clowns.
The whole troop thing never really
Thank
appealed
you.
to me. But I can see like it, like of course it all started as them like just throwing in like Harlequins like this would be funny, but like
Oh, you mean like the developers?
yeah, but like they actually have like a well thought out backstory, and like I can appreciate it learning more about it.
I like the humor touch because it takes such a dark thing and such a fearful thing in the Eldar's history and allows them to think about it and like meditate upon it in a way that doesn't drag them down to darkness.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's like one of the
Because if you
think about it really, you'll just like want to kill yourself because of how
Yeah.
depressing it is.
Yeah.
But when you add the hint of like
hallucinogenic grenades, when you add those in,
like when you had the humor touch to it, you can kind of dissociate from like the terribleness of it, and you put it all in like a different light, right? And I like that thought because that has like a very real world feel to it, right? And I appreciate that.
So
I do want to talk about the dance though, really quickly,
yeah.
because I like that they actually describe the dance very well.
Sure.
And so the dance of the fall of the Eldar is played when a mask comes together, and the reason being is because you can only do it if you have a solitaire and death jesters and chat. Like you need everyone in order to do this one specific dance.
Yeah.
And this kind of describes Kegarak's emergence as like the leader of the Harlequins. So in this dance, you have 9 Eldar, which represent the old race, and we determined that just meant like the old Eldar.
Yeah.
And then you have them dancing around, and slowly, like the figure of Slanesh appears.
Yeah.
Right, and Slanesh then sends a couple. I think they might be the mimes, but the Slanesh sends the mimes to 4 of the old race, and those 4. The mimes are dancing like super like sexually and suggestively. Ooh. And then those dancers of the old Eldar slowly take on that dancing, which shows like their fall into debauchery.
Okay.
And their willingness to like leave their disciplined life.
Yeah.
And then the death jesters show up. 3 of them show up.
Yeah.
And they go to the couple of the other old dancers, the old Eldar, and they kill them. And they take their bodies and they lay them at the feet of Slanesh, who is still dancing in the background.
Yeah.
And then there's those 2 Eldar, and I believe they survive. And in the midst of this, like everyone's dancing and it's going nuts and everything is speeding up because it's about to like accumulate in the birth of Slanesh.
Yeah.
And Kegarak appears. And what he does is he goes to and so he's played by the High Avatar, and he dances over, and apparently like his part is he narrowly misses the mimes who are like sexually dancing, and he misses the death jesters.
Sexy mimes.
Sexy mimes. I'm trapped in a box.
Suggestively.
But so his dancing like involves like much more tumbling and narrowly like avoiding and missing all like the death jesters who are trying to like touch him and kill him.
Yeah.
And the mimes who are trying to like seduce him and get him to like abandon like who he is. And eventually he like makes his way to Slanesh. Slanesh is born, but he grabs one of the dead Eldar and he like touches him, who's like on the ground in front of Slanesh.
Yeah.
And then because they're all wearing hollow suits, right? That guy's clothes that he touched, all his clothes change into the lozenge pattern of the Laughing God.
Yeah.
And my assumption was that like this is the first Harlequin.
Yeah.
So like right after the birth of Slanesh, Kegarak first reached out to the Eldar race as a whole and invited the first people who he thought would like, you embody like what
His
I
believers,
represent.
the people who believed in him, because there was believers in the
Right.
Laughing God even before the fall.
Yes, but that doesn't mean necessarily like you can believe in something without the God being like, you're my chosen.
Yeah.
sure,
Right?
but he's
Like,
going to
'cause
choose from the
there's a
people who
first,
believe.
But there's a, yes, of
He's
course.
not just choosing like, you're amazing, I want you on my team.
That was a very Donald Trump voice. Like, you're the best dancer. You're going to be on my team. We're all going to be the best performers ever. So, like, that's what he's doing is he's finding, like, his most devoted, his most loyal subject, and he's now revealing himself to this is how I pictured it, right? It's like, it's that savior moment, right? Where like everything was doomed, destruction, our race is doomed, and this God that you've worshipped forever or your whole life or that you believed in has actually come to save you, right? And like, in that dance, that's his representation of like, I plucked you out of like the clutches of Slaanesh. And so I thought that was really cool that they described it really well, and I just wanted to share it.
And
here.
when they perform it, it is such like the Eldar that are watching are enthralled by it. Even the Dark Eldar, when they like the performance is so gripping that they are like really dialed in and watching the whole
But
thing.
it helps when you have hallucinogenics
Yeah.
and psychological manipulation
Yeah,
of what you're
yeah.
feeling. And the Eldar are just naturally graceful, and even these are more so, right? So it would be enrapturing.
Really, the Harlequins are more graceful because they just take off the stupid tall helmets. On the Eldar. And as soon as they take those off, it's like, oh man,
I can move my neck.
my head doesn't weigh 50 pounds now.
Cool.
Do you have something to say?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. My favorite thing about them is still the mystery of it all.
Where do they go?
Yeah.
I hope they don't give too much information.
Yeah, it's that fine line.
I don't know. I think when the Codex comes out, we're going to get a huge information dump.
It's possible.
But it can still be about like you're saying, a lot about the masks, right?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Lots of
'cause
information
those are
there.
public anyway.
Right,
Yeah.
but the stuff that happens in the webway,
Yeah.
the stuff connected to the Black Library,
Like, do
some
they
of-
actually talk to?
the
Sigurd?
relationship
Yeah.
to Kegarak, Segurak, whatever.
Well, I think that concludes everything we wanted to share about the Harlequins. If we missed something, if you feel that we did, shoot us an email, message us on Facebook. We'll toss it in our next episode because
Yeah.
chances are good we did miss something.
Tell us about your favorite hero that we totally glossed
Yes.
over and how great they are.
I wasn't kidding at the beginning when I said I didn't do any fact checking or research. But let's get right into the questions that you guys asked on our Facebook page from Mark's post. And the very first one we have is from Clayton, and he says, "Who creates the performances for the Harlequins, and are the performances all the same amongst the different groups?" So who creates them?
So I would say the Avatar would create performances because like he's like the leader of the troop, or like
The
he's-
troop or the mask, right?
Yeah,
leads
either
both.
the Avatar or the High Avatar, but
Yeah.
like you don't need a whole mask to do a play. So I would say the Avatar would be creating them, and each troop to troop will be doing different performances based on the people that they have involved in it, right?
Of course.
And there's so much history there. There's a ton of different performances that are
Yeah.
passed down. Like if you're even just creating a new performance every once in a while,
Yeah.
if you're sharing those around between masks, there's going to be a whole repertoire of them for
Yeah.
you. And
Yeah.
so there's some different ones that are even like named. So like there's the Cripple and the Dragon, the Blades of Vol,
Okay.
Isha's
That would be the
Tears.
99 Blades of Cain
yeah.
Yeah, Isha's
when
Tears.
she sheds them.
And
Yeah.
then, there's lots of other ones.
Yeah.
A lot to do with the Pantheon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's like their history of like where they came from.
Yeah.
But yes, it also makes complete sense. So that one mask you were talking about that solely focuses on the Necron.
Yes, the Mask of the Dreaming Shadow.
Right. Like chances are good, and I agree with your sentiment 100%, Mark, that they're doing War in Heaven dances.
Yeah.
They're sharing the history of the battle with the Necron and the Necron going to
Right.
sleep,
Yeah.
and now them coming back.
Yeah.
They don't really care about Vol or the cripple and the dragon.
Exactly. This particular avatar, so he doesn't do those performances.
Right, because he fully
Yeah.
believes that this is important in the history,
Yeah.
right? And so, absolutely, different masks are performing different things. And that is, like, even if you and I, we had different troops, you're an avatar, I'm an avatar, and we do the same play, there's going to be variations in the play.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you think some things in the play are more important than I do.
Yeah.
Right? And Eldar, who are very nuanced and emotional based, they'll pick up on the slight different things
Yeah.
that you and I put in our different things, and they'll take different meanings from it.
Yeah.
Because everything has a meaning to them, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I imagine too they're not even just doing like Eldar plays too. Like I imagine
It's
like
history.
Exactly. Like that's what it is.
Anything
like,
that's
a
tied
good,
to the
A
Eldar.
good story is a good story regardless of if your race is involved in it, right? Like the Rise of the Emperor, like they probably have
do you really think so?
I don't
do.
know if they would be doing those kind of
I
performances.
would
I think
like
they
to say
would.
they do, but the only reason why I would say yes to that is because the Eldar are affected by that.
Yeah.
They're not doing like the Great Migration of the Bendies
Why not though?
because it has nothing to do with the Eldar.
But a good story is still a good story.
I
I'm not saying that they're commonplace.
I think they have like a.
Maybe there's a mask that focuses solely on like non-Eldar story.
Yeah.
Because they're
It's
like,
possible.
well, it's our story as well, but here's the story of the galaxy as a
Yeah.
whole. That could be a cool
And,
idea.
and with the Eldar, they like sure, like that Hrud migration. I know it was just a throw out, but
Right,
like,
it was.
maybe like 1,000 years down the line that like now they were able to colonize this planet, the Eldar, because the Hrud left it, right? Like then they would tie
That's
themselves in.
true.
Like I think there would have to be a little bit of a tie-in for sure, but like I think they would tell like any story.
I'm not opposed to a mask that focuses solely on non-Eldar. Like the more I think about it, the more I like it. Because most masks wouldn't
Peter
like
doesn't
them.
like it. Peter doesn't like
no,
it.
I think it's possible, but I think like. Does it fit with the Laughing God's purpose for the Harlequin, right? Like,
Yeah.
does it benefit their overall goal that they're trying to do? Because telling about the fall of the Eldar and telling about their history of the Eldar is important.
Yeah.
And you could go into you could branch off from there, but I do think they're very focused on this is the purpose of the Harlequin, this is what the Laughing God has for us. And I don't know, like, some obviously are like just focusing on Necron and even to pulling them away from that, but I don't know. I don't like it as much.
Yeah, like
I don't like it.
I just don't
like
like
if you
it.
were to just throw percentages, like 99% are doing the same
99.9.
Yeah, where like yeah,
So you know how there's like the drama kids who are like ostracized from the rest of the kids or whatever. So even among the Harlequins, there's like
The one or two.
the super geeky Harlequins who are just like hipster
don't even
Harlequins.
fit with us.
We're like, we don't even talk about the history of the Eldar. I'm all about the history of the Imperium and
they're making
the
fun of
Hrud and
Yeah.
just go be a solitaire. Go.
Yeah, exactly.
You should be. I really recommend you should be a solitaire.
I still have a soul.
After we're done with you. Okay, from Drew. Who would win in a fight between a solitaire and Chuck Norris? Easy. Chuck Norris.
He wins everything.
Yeah,
doesn't he?
it's I don't like his roundhouse kick is the power of like 1,000 suns.
But then he's cursed for making contact.
Oh.
with
You know
a
what?
solitaire.
You know what?
It's a lose-lose.
Why would a solitaire even dare to attack Chuck Norris? No, because the solitaire's not dumb.
Solitaires are recruiters. Recruit Chuck Norris.
All right. If
Chuck Norris, have you heard of the Laughing God?
If Chuck Norris joined the Harlequins, what would he be?
That guy does not have a soul.
What?
He's a solitaire.
That is a true American hero.
Where do you
right
think his
there.
power comes from?
He gave up his soul for it.
I'm
He's like
saying-
so old
I'm
and he
saying
looks
he's
so
a-
young. He doesn't have a soul.
He's so old now.
That's funny.
Oh boy. Also, how do you think prissy craft worlders reconcile the importance of Harlequins with the whole betraying their old gods thing?
So I
The
don't know.
whole betraying their old gods thing, I don't know exactly what you're going for here, Drew, because I don't like the only reason I can think of that is because Kegarak wasn't actively involved.
Yeah.
I don't know if you
Yeah.
could really claim that as a betrayal if in the end he did the right thing. Right.
Well, like, is that like the sense of guilt that like Eldar would carry with them?
No.
because of
Like
the
they
fall,
would
or-
dislike Kegarak because he did not partake in the battle after like Slanesh.
didn't do enough to save them.
Right,
or
exactly.
something.
Because he wasn't actively involved in the fall, right? And trying to protect the Eldar race. Like, he only showed up after.
So the whole pantheon, like, they all had like very specific purposes. So like, you can't hold Kegarak like
Responsible for being true to his nature.
exactly.
Yes.
Like,
I agree with
So
that. I don't really
I
agree
don't-
with the sentiment that he
yeah, I don't.
betrayed the
Yeah,
other
exactly.
gods.
Like,
It's
yeah.
not like he's the deceiver from the
no,
Necron,
exactly.
right? Like,
yeah.
even though like they might feel the same, like they're
Yeah.
not at all. Kegarak
And-
still absolutely loves the Eldar.
Yeah, and for all we know, he was like, Kegarak was like, oh, come on, guys, let's just have a good time, right?
Right,
Who
let's
knows?
just laugh it off.
He might have been trying to help them in a way that everyone else might not have seen it as helpful, but
that-
was ultimately would have been helpful.
Exactly, because
But-
it's the only way they were able to survive.
Yeah.
So, I Prissy Craft Rolls. I just feel like you don't like Eldar. True.
Yeah, I
That's
get
all I'm
that
getting
sentiment
from
as
the
well.
Is that, oh, these loser space elves. That's all I'm feeling right now. I think they recognize the importance of Harlequins because they recognize the danger of Slanesh.
Yeah.
Right? And that's how they'll reconcile. If for some reason they felt he betrayed, they're going to be like, sure, I don't like him, but his message is way too important for me to ignore.
Yeah. I just don't get that vibe of betrayal, but
Yeah. From Eric. How do you pronounce the laughing god's name?
Not you.
No, not me.
Okay.
this is Eric with a C and a K.
Oh,
Couldn't decide between the two, took both.
Had to take both. Best of both worlds,
Yeah.
as they say.
Well, it's not a good name to begin with, so.
How do you pronounce the laughing god's name? Me. Easy. Kegarak. Peter.
Segarak.
Mark.
Cereal, we've been over this.
Jordan.
Kegorath.
Did you say Kegorath?
Kegorak. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I prefer the hard C on the front of it, personally.
I prefer just making up my own.
Yeah. Well, it's tough when you can't read. Who commands the Harlequins? So this is the next part of his question. Who commands the Harlequins? And don't give me a campy answer like the laughing god himself. All right, so I've got some hard knowledge for you,
Bad
Eric.
news.
Yeah. Unfortunately for you, it's the laughing god himself. Like,
I'll give
this
you
one was
this-
a trap. This one was a trap. Like, I have no idea what,
I'll
what
give
you're
you my
looking
take
for.
on it now. Like the high avatar.
But there's a high avatar for each
each
mask,
mask.
and there's a million masks.
No, I know, but like maybe that's the answer he's looking for. Like who
The book.
in the actual
book.
mask?
Kegarak's words, maybe.
Sure.
Oh, yeah,
Like I don't know. It's a weird question. Like
They-
obviously,
but they
I think
don't-
it's a trap.
They don't have a typical hierarchy.
Yeah.
No, they don't.
Beyond the high avatars.
Yeah, yeah.
So we've got like 20 high avatars here.
And this is just
for
the
each
masks that we know about.
And, yeah, and there's other ones as well.
Yeah.
And so
And it's not like
who
they
is
all get
telling
together
them
and- yeah.
what to do? Well, each of them is making their own decision of how they interpret
yeah.
the mission that the Laughing God has given them. Now,
right, yeah.
is it possible that the Laughing God shows up as a Harlequin and says like, Necron, just kill Necron, and then disappears, and they're like,
That's my mission.
job.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
I have another answer. The skein of fate. The Shadow
Possibly,
Seers are so
yeah.
powerful that they are leading the Harlequins through to the manipulate and traverse the skein of fate for the best fate of Eldar.
Yeah.
Is that the answer you're looking for?
But
What do you want from us?
What do you want from us? Tell us!
We're just a couple guys in a room.
We don't with a Batman blanket. We don't know.
We don't work for Games Workshop.
Oh. Please give us a job.
I've never read a 40K book. I don't know.
Eric, it sounds like you have an idea.
Yeah,
of
let
this,
us know.
And I'm really interested as to what you think. Because I, like, all I could find, because I seriously was like, this guy's trying to trap me. So I was like, all I could find was that it's the Laughing God. So if you know
Yeah.
something we don't, educate me. All right. From Tim, who or what is the guardian of the Black Library? So, easy answer is Harlequins.
Well,
But there are many.
there are Guardians of the Black Library,
Yes.
is what they're referred to as. Now, a Guardian is a type of Eldar, correct?
Yes.
There are Eldar Guardians.
Yeah.
And then there are Black Library guardians, and so are those connected? How does that work? That's not entirely clear, but
Yeah,
it
I
does
think
seem
it's
like
left
there's
pretty vague.
guardians they are the ones, the scribes that are there.
Yeah.
But in terms of a hierarchy in the Black Library, that doesn't seem to be very clear, and maybe there's going to be more information that comes out about that.
It's all vague.
A hero that is this heroic person who's been in charge of the Black Library that is then revealed, but
Yeah, but they're definitely Eldar.
Aren't there other things though in them as well? Isn't there like a custode in the Black Library?
I don't think so. I know there's tons of people who have tried to get to the Black Library, and I think a couple have, but
if I understand it correctly too, those guardians guard the Black Library,
Yeah,
right?
so,
Like
like,
they're not
even if
just
somebody
scribes, but
got
they're
there-
also there. And then when that there was that big invasion, the guy, the chaos sorcerer, whatever, went in,
Only-
and
yeah.
then there was the guardians that were already there.
Yeah.
Then there was the Harlequins that came to the defense, and then I believe there was Eldar that were part of that battle as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
And there have been times where the Harlequins have brought like inquisitors to the Black Library.
Yeah.
and
Jack
stuff like
Draco.
that.
He went in and he stole the book of the Ranadandra.
That's such old lore, though. Like we've talked about
Oh,
that
we've
guy
talked about Jack before. Yeah,
I forget
his
what we
stuff was
talked about.
retconned.
Yeah, I don't know if it was actually retcon, but it definitely has the hint of heresy to it for sure.
So there are two groups that are allowed consistent access to the library. One being the Solitaires,
Right.
The other being the Human Illuminati.
Really?
That's what it says.
They're actually
So,
called the
so the other,
Illuminati.
yeah, it's a problem.
Yeah.
Like, because 40K, it's 30 years of history. They don't
Right.
take away what's fluff and what's not. Like, the Illuminati was probably some weird
That's
throwaway.
the Sensei.
Yeah, and
Like
I
that's
don't think
really
that's canon.
yeah, I haven't
at
heard
all.
that mentioned a long time. in
Yeah,
40K.
so
I like the Solitaires being able to go into the Black Library because it's like the price you have to pay. Like your life is so crappy, you don't have the soul.
Yeah.
But you get into the Black Library.
Ah.
And I like it being like not an easy place to go to or be
yeah,
around.
yeah,
And I guess like another answer, like as to what the guardian of the Black Library is, like the city itself. Like
Yeah,
the
it has
city
that
has that
psychic
psychic barrier. And I was just doing a quick read on the Black Library because I didn't study a lot of the Black Library for this because it's going to get its own episode.
Is there any information left about the Black Library we haven't discussed now?
Oh, definitely. A lot of people who have but it is conscious. This like craft world, it is conscious and actively seeks to protect itself from all who would attempt to use like its
Yeah.
knowledge for bad.
yeah. So like craft worlds, they have like the whole infinity circuit, and they're made of wraithbone. And,
Right,
like, the,
exactly.
The souls of the dying can kind of like live through the wraithbone and
Yeah.
all that. So yeah, that's why I would have consciousness for anyone who's kind of
That's
Yes.
that's an interesting speculation point too. Is because
Yeah.
like with the Eldar, and you got to collect their soul, whatever it is.
I'm
Soul
pretty sure it's a
stone.
soul.
yeah,
Yeah.
but in a stone form, right?
yeah, spirit stones.
Spirit stone. So does that happen with the Harlequins? Do they go into the Black Library? Craft
Everyone
worlds?
except a solitaire.
right. Because what happens when a Harlequin dies?
yeah,
Where does their spirit stone go? And if it's all the dead Harlequins, then that's where the craft world and the sentience and whatever.
Yes.
That's really cool.
I-
Because you were saying even as a city, but even like it's a craft world.
Yeah.
So how big
It's massive.
is the Black Library?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's massive.
yeah.
Okay, so the next one is from Jose. Is there actual proof that the Laughing God, aka the Joker, is actually leading them? No.
Other than the book, which you're never going to be able to see, so you're
And-
going to take it on the word of the Harlequins
Right.
that they have a book, that there is a Black
You're going
Library.
to take it on the word of the Solitaires.
Sure.
Right?
That are
Yeah.
telling, yeah. So there's
Right.
there's definite opportunities for you to say like, no, I don't believe any of this. This is a bunch of crap.
Yeah. And then there's also all those like third-hand accounts where it's like, no, I met the Laughing God. He told me to go kill all those Necron. You know,
And then he disappeared.
and then he disappeared. Like there's all that too. But,
Exactly, yeah. But no
Actual proof,
Actual
no.
proof. I mean, in the exact same way that like a living saint has seen the Emperor.
Yeah.
Because they've never seen the Emperor. Right? like, is there actual proof that the
Right.
Emperor still exists? When was the last time he was seen?
Yeah.
Right? It's that same way.
And in the vein of like proof and stuff, like we don't even know what the Eldar gods are. Like we did an episode about, not a full episode, but we talked about it for a while. Like, were they old ones that like were leading the Eldar? Like,
Were they the progenitors of the Eldar?
yeah, were they the first like 5 Eldar? Like we don't know what the
were they
the
psychic
Eldar
creations
pantheon.
just meant as guides?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
we don't
like-
even know.
Were they even a thing? We don't even know.
They were real.
Were they though?
Of course. Isha.
Doesn't matter. That's like it's a warp thing. Like, can we really claim? Yeah, I know it's said that Isha is in Nurgle's garden testing the potions, but like, is Isha
Avatar
an
of Cain.
actual? Is that an actual thing though, or is that more of like a psychic thing? Like, we don't know what they are.
I guess there is still that hint of mystery to them.
And like and for even like the Avatar, like if everyone is pumping their psychic thoughts, especially the Eldar, into the thought of the Avatar of Cain, like, was Cain actually a thing before, or was
did
it
they
a story
create it?
and now it has been created? We don't know. But
Interesting.
I don't know.
I don't like to see that's how you think, Mark. I'd rather you were a man of faith.
I don't believe in anything.
Yeah. Okay.
Life is meaningless.
This is from Matt. How do the Harlequin fit into the lore now that this new Eldar god has shown up? Are they just doing their own thing, or have they had to adapt in some way? That's a good question.
I think they fit pretty well together though. Like, Need's all about like stopping Slaanesh, and Harlequin's all about them. I think they'd get along quite well.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where the laughing god can always just say, "This was part of my plan all along.
Yeah.
This is the big joke. This is part of it now.
Yeah.
And this comes into my plan."
Yeah.
Because and you need being the creation of a new Eldar god, the Eldar god of death,
Yeah.
where all the collected of the Eldar souls are going to be mushed together into this one massive god
Yeah.
that they're trying to create in order to battle Slaanesh.
Yeah.
So honestly, I don't see any reason why there would be
Yeah.
contention between the two
Yeah.
groups.
It fits perfectly for the laughing god who just wants to sit back and laugh anyways.
and
right?
tug
Yeah.
the strings.
He's not
right?
going to be fighting against Slaanesh.
Yeah.
So if there's a new god that's there to
Yeah,
fight and save the day,
Perfect.
he's happy with it.
Yeah. So I think they'd get along pretty well. Like, yeah.
I agree.
You're shaking so.
This is from Derek. Are the Harlequins the most fashionable of all the armies, them sweet hollow suits?
For sure.
Ooh, and now we disagree.
Okay, Peter.
Oh,
okay.
gosh.
Okay.
But I'd actually tend to agree as well.
Oh,
They're
you
very
hipsters.
colorful. That doesn't make them the
That's
most...
really all it takes in
Have
the
you-
40K
No, because
universe
what
is-
other race actually even takes fashion into account?
Sisters of Battle, they're fucking rocking powered high-heeled armor.
I guess so.
So that's pretty sweet.
Orcs.
No,
Or
Did I
no,
that's-
say orcs
what?
one more time?
No.
they love color.
They love color.
Definitely
Color
they
is
love-
not fashion.
It is to me. That's as good as my fashion gets.
Yeah. No, they're definitely the most like fashionable,
The most
flavorful.
garishly, like the most bright and colored. They don't look like they fit on a battlefield.
Yeah.
They look
Right.
like they fit in a theater.
Yeah.
Theater.
The theater.
Yes.
Yeah.
There have been some pretty flamboyant orc war bosses too, who like find fancy hats and they like their
Yes.
like,
Yes.
They always is random stuff.
But those
like
are more
that.
gimmicks.
Yeah.
Yeah. But personally, like, I really like the way Inquisitors look. Like, I have yet to see, like, an Inquisitor's, like, model or, like, artwork of an Inquisitor. To me, it's always the sweetest thing I've
Yeah.
ever seen. But fashionable, yes.
If you like skulls, they're very fashionable. If you don't like skulls, not
Right.
very fashionable.
Exactly. In that case, go to
Yeah.
the Harlequins.
I don't think orcs are fashionable. They're fashionable in the way that a guy at Games Workshop who wears a fedora is fashionable.
Yes.
You know what?
I can agree.
There's a type.
Harlequins are actually have a sense of fashion.
Style and that's funny.
And also from Derek, this is our last one. Is the Black Library really filled with the way to end chaos, or is that just fake news by the Eldari?
Propaganda.
If it is, it's in that book.
Yeah.
if there is a way, yes, it would be. I can't think of any other place it would be in.
Yeah. Except in my head, because I know how to
No,
end chaos.
Mark, it's
You
not
put a-
gonna
You
work.
put a psychic blank
Oh
every
my-
square mile in the entire galaxy, you've ended chaos.
We've already determined that blanks wouldn't work. Pariahs is what we
Pariahs,
need.
yes.
And ultimately, though, like the Laughing God isn't really interested in ending chaos.
True.
Just saving
The Eldar
the
race.
Eldar. So
He's looking at defeating Slanesh.
that's such a bigger thing to even try to accomplish.
Yeah.
Is that information there?
And I think there's a lot of ways in there to help you battle chaos.
Yeah.
Totally.
What are its weaknesses?
Right.
What are some ways you could guard yourself against chaos so it can't take root in your soul? Like, I see those things being like, here, take our 12-step guide on how to save your soul from eternal torment. Right? But there's no, like, here's our 12-step program on how to remove chaos from the galaxy. That's an impossibility, I think. So,
All right, I got a question.
okay.
So my question is for each of you, where would you put the Laughing God on the crazy genius spectrum? Do you think he's just completely insane? Is he the Joker, right? Like, is he just a villain that's just wants to watch the world burn? Or is he a genius, like, heroic figure that is going to save the Eldar, even if he doesn't get the credit for it or whatever, and is just going to sit back and laugh and laugh? Where do you put him on the crazy genius spectrum?
I'd put him more on the crazy side, but not like on the side like where Joker is like just like completely like.
Yeah, but I don't know if that's even a good comparison because the Joker he's very calculated.
Yeah, and that's why I don't
a
like the whole
very,
Joker thing. Like
he's
not-
actually a genius.
Yeah, that's why I
but
don't
like,
really like
incredibly evil.
Yeah,
like,
I think
time.
make him crazy.
He's more
It
just like an
fits together.
extreme nihilist.
But everybody
Yeah,
who's you're gonna look at the Laughing God for 30 seconds and you're gonna compare him to the Joker because it's just a natural kind of the rictus grin kind of
but
thing.
like, I don't think he's that type of crazy, but I definitely think he's not all there. Like his whole purpose is to make jokes. Like that's
But
his whole thing.
Okay, I agree. I agree that he is not all there, but I don't think it's like his fault, and I think that's
sure.
his protection.
Sure.
Like if he was able to,
his coping mechanism.
no, that's
Yeah.
I mean that's a really dumbed down way of putting it, but
Okay.
yeah, absolutely. Like the only reason he's able to survive so long is because he doesn't feel the need to involve himself the same way that the other Pantheon members did.
Yeah.
Because he's like, everyone's just gonna laugh about it.
Yeah.
Right? And that's how he's dissociating himself from like the cries of the Eldar. And he's like, oh no, I can do this through humor and through like little like secrecy and through a little dramatic flair. Right? Like, and that's what his
Don't you
purpose
think
is.
though, like he's sort of, in a way though, has like saved Eldar history and culture?
Absolutely.
But like, isn't that
Only because he
isn't there a
chose-
genius to that?
Right, and I think he is a genius, but I don't know if I could attribute it to him to being like a very calculated person, but to more it's like
by accident.
exactly.
Okay.
He's an
Even a
accidental
clock is
genius.
a broken clock is what's the saying?
Right, twice a day.
Yeah. Like. What do you think, Peter?
So for me, I agree with you guys. I don't really like the Joker comparison. It's definitely there. People are going to jump to that.
Yeah.
But to me, what I think of more is like Tom Bombadil in
yeah.
The Lord of the Rings, right?
So far
not in the
removed.
movies,
Yeah.
but for those of you who aren't familiar, but he's like a big,
He's very
jolly
eccentric.
Santa Claus,
Yeah.
but with like more like not the white, but with like a yellowy kind of beard.
More gnomish
But-
features.
but bigger and jolly and like the big belly, but
Yeah.
incredibly powerful, mysterious. You're not really sure what he's doing, and he's surrounded with all this evil, like the Barrow and the Barrow Whites, and there's like the forest is incredibly wild where he lives, but
Yeah.
he can kind of just laugh in the face of all of that. And so like if you can picture the Laughing God maybe more as like a jolly, like kind of laughter instead of that Joker like insane cackle,
Yeah, I like that way more actually.
because
That makes
then
way
you
more
can
sense.
see that kind of guy like having a plan and just laughing. So that's how I can picture him sitting back, even at something as like terrible as the fall of the Eldar, where everything is just going the worst it possibly could, but he's able to laugh because he knows there's a bigger plan, there's things that are going to happen, it's going to take
Yeah.
time, but it's going to work out.
Yeah.
And I can see like the Harlequins, that's the kind of laughing god that you put your faith in and give your life to, not the Joker who is the puppet master who is just like crazy evil.
Yeah.
But even where you're around him and you're like, because Tom Bombadil is like, he's a little crazy.
Yeah,
right? And
exactly.
it's a
But
little
more
sketchy.
in a way that you just don't understand why he's doing it.
Sure, like remember Galadriel? I'm just gonna go full Lord of the Rings here.
Perfect.
Right? Like that crazy power that's like right on the like sword's edge that could go evil but is
Right.
under control. That to me is the laughing god. Could he go crazy and everything is gonna be like screwed? Yeah. But he's got it under control. He's got a plan.
because of who his personality and his character is, such a jovial character.
Right.
Like you don't even have a worry that it would go to that.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Because
You
that's
just laugh.
this is who he is, and it's not like you would change that very nature of the person.
So go back to the very beginning with the other gods, right? You were calling him like the runt of the gods, and it's like, fine, you call me the
Okay.
runt of the gods. I'm laughing because I know you guys are all screwed. You're all gonna die,
Yeah.
you know, or whatever death looks like for you.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be okay. So pick on me, call me the runt, whatever. It doesn't seem like I have a big purpose here, but I'm gonna outlast all of you,
Yeah, and everything to him is just the joke.
and that's the ultimate joke, right?
So if you take away anything from this podcast, take away that
He's more like
character act-
Tom Bombadil.
Yeah, honestly, I really like that.
I thanks for sharing that earlier, Peter.
He was holding it.
He was. It was a
his
good
back
one. It was a
pocket.
good one though.
He
I
didn't even
really
put it on
like
his
that
notes.
that comparison of
Yeah.
Bombadil. Okay. Well, that went through our questions. Peter, thank you for joining us.
Anytime.
Always a pleasure to have you on our podcast. Thanks for listening, guys. This was our episode on Harlequins. Hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed planning it. 0, because I didn't do anything.
It was easy.
It was so nice.
Remember to put a review on iTunes.
Yes, please.
Mention an in-joke from the podcast.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everyone just starts saying crude sexual.
Jizz hands.
Jizz hands, crude sexual. Any of the two will do.
Sexual.
Attracted only to Kroot.
Yeah. I have been described as crude sexual by a fan.
The only.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Your poor wife. Message us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. Shoot us an email. We're always excited to chat with people and learn more about them and see where you guys are. Like I'm in Portland in like a little over a month.
Which Portland?
Oregon, and there is a
Ah.
guy. I sent him a message. If you're listening, Remington, message me back, because it's been a couple days and I'm nervous.
Oh.
Mark and I are actually going to GratzCon today,
Yeah.
so that'll be like 5 days before this episode is released. But hopefully we'll take some pictures. At this point, you would have seen them.
Yeah.
And some videos and stuff. But we're looking forward to that.
Yeah, it should be interesting.
Should be fun. Other than that, check out our Patreon. Check out our Redbubble. We're going to put it all on our Facebook anyway.
Yeah.
So you'll see it there. And I guess we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Yeah, thanks for listening. Listen.
Peace out.
Bye, Peter. Peter, bye.
Bye, Peter. Peter?
Peter?
Peter?